Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I will get to LeBron, to the Miami Heat in a second, but I want to ask all of you a question. I drove in this morning, and I was marveling, as I often do in South Florida, about what a weird place we are. And a lot of people who listen to this show say that I too often describe something as uniquely Miami when it's something that's all over the Americas, all over the world. But I want to ask you guys genuinely if you believe that in downtown, in any other major metropolis in our United States, you could drive in through downtown and get this particular video and sound and get it from 50 roosters downtown or 500 roosters downtown, because we have more roosters down here than pigeons. Tell me this is something that you guys can imagine in any other major American city downtown. Is it something? It can't be something that's somewhere else. Do I have this wrong?
I mean, we have a pretty big fan base that's spread out. I would like to know if anyone in the YouTube chat right now has roosters walking around their downtown. The biggest comp that I've ever seen compared to Miami is Key West. You'll see plenty of roosters walking down Key West.
Yeah, but they just came from over here. They were all here first.
Yeah, they went down the 7 Mile Bridge.
Ended up in the Keys.
They're like, we don't want to be in that part of America. We want to be in this part of America, and this is as far south as it gets. But I don't understand, and this is, Billy, I don't know if you know Hispanic Calle Ocho history, but this has been something that is so for a long time, and you will see giant roosters all over Calle Ocho and South Florida for a reason. I'm assuming it's that reason. I'm assuming there is I guess we could ask Ron Magill later. I don't know why they're here, but this isn't anywhere else, right?
The real roosters or the sculptures?
The sculptures that are in celebration of the real roosters.
That's like an art installation. It's art.
But
like, why did someone tape a banana to a wall? Art.
Yep.
You should get art, Dan.
Okay, but bananas are everywhere. The rooster being specific.
There's roosters everywhere.
Okay.
Downtown Des Moines is probably full of roosters.
So you don't know the history. Okay, thanks for the contribution.
Well, I imagine the large-scale art installations are to reflect what is happening in the community, which is actual roosters walking around everywhere. If you go to Marlins Park, there's a bunch of roosters around Marlins Park.
But amplifying what Mike said, roosters have taken over Key West. You go to Key West now. I love Key West. We go there as tourists a few times a year. You see roosters now in Sloppy Joe's,
right,
like ordering drinks. I mean, they have taken over the city, and it's like they're the symbol of Key West in a way that I don't think roosters are in Miami, except for a few Hispanic neighborhoods.
Please turn that off. I think that's going to start annoying people if it hasn't already. Put it out in the poll. Have roosters taken over Key West? These were over there by the Metro Rail. Greg, can you take that mask off, please? Why are you wearing that mask? It's muffling the sound that we're getting off.
You may have heard, Dan, there's a global pandemic going on. I wanted to protect myself and others around me. So that's why I was wearing the mask.
Okay, but there is?
We taped this show in 2021.
Fake news. We mask shaming Greg now?
No, I just would like him. I'd like to hear him
yesterday,
better.
and he wasn't wearing a mask, though.
I would like to take off the mask.
That was yesterday.
It's very hot.
Okay.
Under my
It is hot in here. We're having some problems with the equipment.
Shall I take off the mask?
You just announced that you were going to take it off. You can do all of it quietly and by yourself. I just need your audio to be slightly better. Billy, it would be helpful to me if you would find out for me why it is there are art installations of
It's
roosters.
a celebration of the neighborhood's Cuban culture and way to attract tourists. It's part of the Rooster Walk project.
Thank you.
He was ahead of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning to not one but two newspaper articles asking whether LeBron to Miami could be a thing. Yesterday on the show, I just want to explore this with you guys for old time's sake, just because I can't believe it's here and it just makes me smile. Is this the year anniversary of the assassination attempt on Trump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not today. It was, I think, over the weekend on Sunday.
It makes, I can't believe a year's gone by, but it makes me smile to think of this particular week in the middle of summer, Stugotz. When our show was almost literally built upon a LeBron to Miami. Everything our show became was almost literally built on LeBron came to Miami. To wake up this morning on a week when so much of sports is on vacation.
Yep.
It's just the All-Star Game and people yelling about whether that guy should be in or whether a kid should be stealing home runs during the home run derby.
I have a lot to say about that.
We'll get to it in a second. But the manna that I get from heaven is not merely that Spo just volunteers a day ago. I skipped right past this story yesterday. Spo mentions for the first time with a private organization in which I hadn't seen any of the insiders report on the following. Spo says for the first time, Khalil Ware needs to work on his professionalism. And as soon as I heard the word professionalism, I immediately went to, whoa, Hassan Whiteside. And that Spo did that to me. That wasn't there before. Spo did it to me and then did it to him. Because none of us were there. None of the insiders were reporting anything about Spo volunteering. We got a guy who needs to be more professional. And the last time I heard that kind of stuff, it's when Hassan Whiteside's leaving his car open and there's a giant machine gun in the back and Hassan Whiteside is being just maximum Hassan Whiteside, just young kid in the league before he's ready to be an adult.
That's really not something that you want to hear weeks after the fan base is frustrated that they didn't acquire Kevin Durant. One of the rumored places that they wouldn't go, the bridge too far, was adding Khalil Ware to the piece, to the mix. And 2 weeks later to have your head coach, who very rarely says things like that, saying he needs to improve his approach to the game, he needs to improve aspects of his game, makes you wonder aloud, well, you know who doesn't? Kevin Durant. What are we doing here?
This is a volunteering of information that this organization doesn't usually do. It is purposeful. That man particularly is, I think, the most savvy, careful person around the media I've ever seen in this market. Has to be available to the media twice a day, is bored by it, entertains it, but doesn't do any of the extra stuff. And that was all purposeful and something that they don't do very often. And when I'm telling you, Stugotz, when that lands on me as you just volunteered information that turned a dude into Hassan Whiteside on me just because you're the one saying it and it's that word and it's this organization, I hadn't seen that reported anywhere by all of these insiders in the information business. And I was taken aback by the fact that he did it, and I didn't even mention it yesterday. And then today, when I was going to mention it, LeBron stops by.
I mean, it was a totally calculated move by Spo. He does not do these things, and it made me feel like, well, is this organization feeling the heat a little bit because they got criticized for not really considering putting Ware in that package? Fan base got frustrated, and now Spo is speaking in ways that we haven't seen him do it publicly. By the way, the concerns about Ware's approach to the game should have started and ended with this tattoo that he has on his bicep. It's quite frankly the worst tattoo in all of sports. And as a guy with a Lee Corso tattoo, I feel like I'm an authority on bad tattoos. That right there, terrible tattoo.
The loser is the word that is etched on his bicep, and then the S in loser is covered by a V to make him a lover. But you can see the S, and it's back there, but now it's the red V. So he's a lover, not a loser.
The thing with this sort of public calling out with Spo is the reason you don't hear it from information insiders is maybe because it really just frustrated Spo to see the lack of aggressiveness from Ware in the Summer League in particular. He started the Summer League being essentially absent from the offense, not really doing a lot on defense, and since being called out, it's 21-9 and then 21-15 in back-to-back games. And when talking about it, he just said, it's something I got to bring every day, and like I said, I will. It's more of a presence that's being felt out there. I just got to bring it. That's it, plain and simple. I think that was a challenge not only to Ware, but potentially to Bam Adebayo as a leader as well, to say, hey, man, you got to take this young buck and do the same things with him that Udonis Haslem did with you.
This when Spo is waving the Heat culture flag, in this case, it tells me that behind the scenes there has been a frustration with Ware building to the point where it finally erupts in a public comment. I don't think this is anything that's particularly recent. It's got to be something that's been frustrating the Heat for many months about this kid, I would think.
Why do you go with a loser tattoo in the first place? I mean, it's an odd thing to tattoo on yourself.
Well,
hey, I'm a loser.
You're right, but I don't think the V was put there because he realized his mistake after the fact and got a second tattoo. I think that was an original idea that he had all together.
Well, actually, it's not an original idea. This template is quite popular. You'll see it a lot, that exact same style over the internet. He was clearly influenced by it, but it's a bad tattoo because, yes, before you put the V on, you're tattooing loser on your bicep, and then you finish the job. But you briefly got loser. I mean, you still got loser on your arm.
I thought maybe he got pranked.
It could also be like he's a loser 5 times over.
He woke up and what? Who did this? Oh, man.
Roman numeral 5? You think he went Roman numeral 5? Not just merely a loser, but 5-time multiplier with the V. Okay. It is a bad decision. I still maintain, though, the worst tattoo in the history of the league. I think it was Yao Ming who revealed this, that Kenyon Martin, was it Kenyon Martin?
Kmart.
Had a tattoo that he thought said warrior in a Chinese symbol, and Yao Ming said it said noodles.
Oh. But only Yao knew that, I mean,
Well,
right?
not only Yao, a lot of people.
Yes, you understand what I'm saying.
Noodles are great. What's wrong
I was
with
going
that?
to say, if it's going to be a word, that's not a bad mistake word. Could be worse.
Yeah.
I suppose it could, yes, when it comes
could be
to
loser.
symbols. Getting away from Ware, though, because while I find this small part of it interesting, right, because I don't think it's just public motivation, I would say that Spo knows the power of his words when I say he's a very media-savvy person, and he knows whether it's fair or not, because I don't think it's fair, that when he places that there for Ware, and I as a journalist am making the mental leap with a single word from there to Hassan Whiteside, and I'm not the only one who is doing that, because of how unusual it is for this organization to do things like that, where he's saying already, we know you have talent, but you're not fitting here with what it is that we do because you're not professional every day. There's not a lot of insults, actually, that you can give one of the guys growing up in that furnace across the street surrounded by roosters that is bigger than that one. You're not professional.
But don't you think Spo makes the insult because he knows the player can handle the insult? You'd like to think that, right? Like he made the mistake with Whiteside, and he's not going to make the same mistake.
Or he'd like to see if he's capable.
My only point is my only point on it is because he made the mistake with Whiteside. This can't be Whiteside, guys. Whiteside is one of the all-time knuckleheads in the history of the league. I'm being unfair by making the leap to Whiteside. But Spo did that to me. This organization did that to me because of how rarely they say, we've got an unprofessional in the building. We've got somebody here who represents all the things that Udonis Haslem isn't.
But how many times did Spo have this conversation with Ware privately before it came to this? That's what I'm getting at. This is something that implies it has really been building and building and building to finally get to this
I guess
point.
my point is the stain on this one is hard to get out. It's there now. Even if he goes off for the next 6 months, it's still the coach volunteered something on an employee, a very careful coach, planted something. I know you could all look at this and say, it doesn't mean anything. You can. It's a silly little thing in the middle of summer. This organization doesn't do this, and this is a piece that they are counting on, not unlike what Bam grew into, to be something that proves that they're right about we shouldn't trade this for Kevin Durant. And so they're alerting him now by publicly shaming him in a way that's unusual for the organization and unusual for that man, that particular man, because Riley does some of this. That guy's got to live with it, though. That guy's got it in his locker room. Riley does it from on high. Riley wanders around the building and shouts it from on high, but that guy has to live with these people, and he just told everyone else in the locker room that their young guy's not professional, and then he told us too, which they usually don't let that out of the locker room.
Yeah, suppose a Pat Riley disciple, and Pat would, correct me if I'm wrong, he would occasionally challenge people publicly in the media. It wouldn't necessarily land great all the time. Spo very rarely does something like this, and it could just be an isolated incident. It could have happened if the flames weren't as high around this organization as, quite frankly, as they've ever really been. But I'm not ignoring the timing. This, again, I do think there's part of it. Hey, we had an opportunity to get one of the game's greatest players, a player that we have flirted with multiple times over and never brought here, and you were a tipping point. We did not want to cross that bridge. We did not want to include you in a package for Kevin Durant. You need to reward the faith that we have in you with a professionalism and an approach that makes us have faith that you can meet your ceiling.
I think this just reveals that Spo voted to keep Ware, and now he's feeling the pressure of, we had a 5-headed thing here. I voted to keep Ware along with probably Nick Harrison, so now I'm feeling the pressure of, hey, I turned down Durant for you. Get your together.
Guys, the home run derby was yesterday. The All-Star Game's today, and ESPYs are tomorrow. Who gives a about the Miami Heat?
Right.
Whoa.
Well, LeBron to the Heat.
That's not happening.
We're talking about Khalil Ware, though. I mean, he responded last night, 21 and 15.
Many are saying. To Billy's point, this LeBron to the Heat thing is like really manufactured by people that are just looking at numbers and trying to make it work. But I mean, LeBron's at the Cavs facility. You know, there's very clearly, I think, and yesterday he was congratulating Brandon Weems. He is openly flirting with Cleveland. It seems like that's the move, and we're just trying to get in the conversation almost to a sad point.
It's pandering by the media, and I hate to say that. Look, a couple of months ago at the onset of summer, I wrote a column with the names Durant and Giannis in the headline. So I'm not above pandering, but at this point, when you say LeBron to the Heat, ? It seems so preposterous that I don't even know if it should be lent credence.
Okay, it is delightful, though, as we wonder still about his options or lack of options. But to Billy's point, though, the All-Star Game, and Shane Gillis, he made me laugh because he's going to do the ESPYs here, and he's pretty self-aware. And he says that he hasn't done very much prep, but he just laughed to himself realizing how funny it is him in a tuxedo just walking across a big stage. He's like, that's going to be so awkward as someone who's not terribly comfortable in his own body. He's going to be walking in front of athletes, standing in front of them, and he doesn't know how to make the walk on the stage without appearing to walk like a dork because he walks like he walks. How long a walk is that going to be where he's going to do his move of moving his hands to the side before he lands in a nervous place performing before athletes he respects?
I caught up on the dialogue around it. I was surprised at your take that he might be afraid to go at athletes because he reveres them so much. Billy was smart to point out the Saban, the Indiana, the Alabama Jones line made that so wonderfully awkward. I revisit that clip. I don't think Shane's going to be scared one bit.
Who's asking him to wear a tuxedo at the ESPYs? It's the ESPYs.
I don't
he
know.
Should go for a tux for that.
I don't know why it is he was worried about just the walk on the stage. He didn't seem terribly worried about the monologue because he's funny.
Well, he's good at that.
He's got writers. Yeah. Well, it's hard. It's a hard thing to be good at. 10 minutes funny, lonely on a stage. Most people aren't brave enough to do that, right? It's
stand-up comedians are pretty good at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of his
Sort of
job.
what they do.
And so he's got to get out there and perform. There is pressure on it, right? We haven't seen Chris Rock since that Netflix special. Like, there's pressure on doing that. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
I don't think it's because of pressure. I think Chris Rock just got paid, and now he doesn't need to go around doing all this stuff.
And you're interested in the ESPYs? You're going
Not
to be
really.
Okay. So you brought it up to just get us off LeBron. But
Yeah,
you
just
said,
kinda trying to
Get us off where?
Yeah,
Well
you know.
done. It
Big
worked.
dumper.
I will admit I haven't voted on the ESPYs yet. Have polls closed yet? Because I can vote live now on air if you guys would like. We can make it a poll thing, or you guys can do it together. You guys want to vote for the ESPYs together? I remember, like, as a youth, going to like McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, voting for the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, going to the All-Star or voting for the All-Star Game at stadiums, voting for the ESPYs. It used to be so much fun. Now elections are all about politics.
Mm-hmm. People love voting, don't they?
There was something cool about going
enough.
to a ballpark and getting the paper ballot.
That's your take? People love voting? No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that people love voting.
They will when we can't anymore.
They oddly did in 2020. Look into that.
I don't know why you would look into a camera in 2025 and say people love voting.
They love voting.
There's no statistical proof of what you're saying.
Love Island got a ton of votes.
A meaningless vote. How about this? People love just like, oh, 2 options. What are like chocolate or vanilla?
Yeah.
Well, that's what the ESPYs live on. They have 19 categories and they allow you to vote. And all of a sudden you're voting for, a guy riding a bicycle, 4 options. You've never heard of any of them. You're picking the name you hate the least, and people love voting. I stand by it.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Do people like voting on polls at Le Batard Show?
You can still vote on the ESPYs today. I'm on the website right now. If you
I'm doing it.
18 categories. If you want to do this real quick, best male athlete: Saquon, Josh Allen, SGA, or Ohtani. What do we think?
Saquon.
I went Saquon, yeah.
Really?
Great voted
year.
for him.
It's not. Voting hasn't closed. They're still
boy.
taking
No,
votes.
it's crazy.
Still time, Dan.
It's like Stewie voting.
If
want
we
in?
assume, it's, up to
All right.
date.
Well, I was delighted. If you guys could, I don't know if they take any write-ins or if you could foul up
They
that
don't.
vote at all by just voting for things that shouldn't be winning.
Write-ins.
I really enjoyed the other day watching a video because while I don't love voting the way that you do, I will watch lists on video if you give me the moments of the last decade. And I was watching a video the other day of the top 10 moments in sports of the last decade. They were all great. They were all moving. And right in the middle of it, Bartolo Colon hitting a home run.
Wow.
And it was one of the top 10 moments, and I'm like, that's a well-made list.
Yes.
That belongs
Deserving.
in there.
Yes.
So I'm
Not number 10, like in the middle.
Yes, that right in the middle. It was like number 6, and I'm like, that's where it should be.
Yes.
It was
Maybe slightly higher.
It was the first home run. It was a big fat guy running around the bases that we'd been making fun of for a few years for being a big fat guy.
PSA, if you hit skip on the ESPY voting because you want to go back, you're thinking about it, you can't go back. Whoa. I now am no longer eligible to vote for best male
That's
athlete.
a flaw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Controversy.
Make sure it's a male.
Billy, I was remiss yesterday that you were not here because I have fallen into an algorithm, and I don't know if this has happened to you, where Jose Canseco material just continues to end up in my feed, and I can't stop watching it, even though some of it makes me sad, and some of it's great and funny. And we were talking yesterday just about the fact that how rare it is for a Cuban meathead to rise to the top of sports, how difficult it is to explain what Jose Canseco is to a generation of children who would have no idea what it is to have a Cuban superhero cartoon meathead, not grown up, never grown up, still not grown up.
He was at my elementary school's fair one year.
Was he?
festival. Yeah, you pay for an autograph of Jose Canseco.
Was it Ozzy?
We didn't pay for it. It was pricey. It was like $40 for
No,
Jose
but
Canseco.
do you know if it was actually Jose or he sent
You
it
never
to
know, Mike.
I don't think I was there the day that it happened. It was too much of a thing. And it was right by the old Jose Canseco Street before they took that down and they renamed it Ram Road. Yeah.
In disgrace.
He had a street.
Yeah, he
Some
did
of,
have a
these,
street.
some of these categories, I think, are created just to give specific people awards. Like Best Record-Breaking Performance, Kevin Durant, U.S. Olympic basketball all-time scorer.
Please.
Why would I
Right.
vote for that over Ovechkin, NHL all-time goals leader? Caitlin Clark, WNBA single-game assists leader, single-season assists leader.
That would be wild if a single game assist beat
Well,
Ovechkin.
let's do that.
Gretzky record.
What I'm saying is let's see if our people can go and
that's
contaminate
ridiculous.
the vote. No, but that would be great. If indeed in a small category where there's not a lot of voting, if our listeners can affect the vote, we can have a Lewis Brinson moment.
Is this like the VMAs where they just award whoever shows up?
We don't know enough about it, so probably.
Yeah, we think so.
It certainly improves your chances. But yeah, that would be great. Let's vote for Kevin Durant over a guy breaking a Gretzky record.
I voted for
Unbreakable.
Caitlin. Yeah.
Forgive me, I want to get to something, but it's now the second time in a couple of weeks we've mentioned the Lewis Brinson stuff, and I don't know if the audience knows all the details there, and I know I don't know all the details there because I think you guys got in trouble with people at ESPN because I think we actually affected the voting one year, and we were going to get Lewis Brinson in the All-Star game until somebody in the commissioner's office came sniffing around like, we can't have that happen. And then in the shadows, wait, hold on a second.
Mm-hmm. Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You're good.
What happened there? What happened? What's the Lewis Brinson situation? What's the truth?
He's a podcast now.
He does. Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sweet Lou.
Nice.
What's the truth about the Lewis Brinson thing? I don't know what happened there. We started voting for him. We were asking because you could vote for the All-Star game, so we wanted to vote for Lewis Brinson, who the Marlins got in the trade for Christian Yelich, who went on to win the MVP that season.
And he was not having an All-Star
He was under
season.
200. He was hitting under 200 at a time when no one was doing that. That was back before baseball changed, and it was everybody.
Well, some say that he was a pioneer in that sense, where he didn't worry about the batting average.
Right, ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Granted, he didn't have the homers to back it up.
Didn't worry about the power either.
Yeah,
The joke was we were going to get Lewis Brinson in the All-Star game because he had the lowest batting average in the league and clearly didn't belong in the All-Star game.
No, but it was just kind of like, that was kind of what it was. But also, like, the NHL, like, the season before
John Scott
had done a similar thing, so we thought, why can't we do this with a Marlin at the All-Star game and see if we can get him in and get the most votes? And then it became somewhat of a movement, and people around the country were taking Lewis Brinson All-Star Game signs to the games and sending us pictures. And he never showed up anywhere in the voting. And we would do it, and honestly, one of my largest professional regrets is that whole thing. But we were doing that, and then we kept wondering every time like the ballots would come out, like, why are we not seeing him anywhere? We know people are actually doing this, and how many people are actually voting for the MLB All-Star Game in the year of our Lord 2018. So we thought that just show up in the top 10. It was suspicious how he didn't show up anywhere. And then we started reading like the fine print on the rules and regulations, and it said that the commissioner's office can throw out any votes that they deem whatever. It was basically like, we can consider any votes we want and throw out any votes we don't want. And then we read that on air, and then we got okay, we're done playing with this now on ESPN Radio. Thank you. It was fun while it lasted, but no more mentions of that, because I don't know if you remember, Dan, we had a couple months prior to that an interview with Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, that did not go well. Mm-hmm. So after that, they did not want us to follow that up with accusing the commissioner's office of potentially throwing out votes in the All-Star Game ballots.
Baseball has to protect the mighty integrity of its game. That's why they just let in a guy who's played 5 games into the All-Star Game. 5 career games.
Be deposed.
The worst interview a professional sports commissioner has ever done. I'd like to get to Billy's top 5 professional
He wasn't entirely
regrets.
to blame for that.
Same.
Vince McMahon almost killed Bob Costas one time.
Top 5 professional regrets. I didn't realize that was one of them. I would love to dig around until you and I would do dueling top 5.
Not top 5. It's
professional
one of my
regrets.
largest professional regrets, just because I didn't consider the fact that there was a human being on the other side of this stunt.
Right, we never really got full buy-in from Lewis Brinson.
Well, this is where Billy felt the worst, right? Because Brinson was hitting 168, and then at the time, this is the part, as I recall, that got Billy to say, you know what, this isn't very nice, what I've done here. It's when he was quoted as saying, I appreciate the support, guys, but y'all go vote for JT Real Muto or Starlin Castro.
Someone who deserves it.
Then, luckily, we could vote for both of them.
Yeah, you could vote for all of them. They were different positions.
Yes, but he then said, I appreciate the love. I haven't done my job. And it was that last sentence that Billy was like, okay.
I was checking in from afar. I would ask reporters that were in the locker room, like, how's this going over?
Yeah, he didn't think it was funny.
No, they were like, I don't think he's aware enough to realize. It's like, okay, that's not nice to say, but now I don't feel as bad.
Yes, well, but that attitude, yes, when I was in Major League clubhouses a long time ago, and I would stare at Renee Latchman after writing a column questioning all of his decisions in the 5th inning.
Latch.
And he would storm across the clubhouse and be yelling at me because he's like, you don't take any of this seriously enough. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, you're in your underwear. There's a certain respect that baseball has for baseball that we don't have for baseball.
I mean, it all worked out in the end. Lewis Brinson now, successful podcaster with a very real podcast.
Listen up. Time to think fast. Is this a real or fake podcast?
All right, who are we playing the game with? Is this with Cody? Who are the participants?
You guys figure it out.
There.
You just weigh in. First one, Papa Squat with Jonathan LaCroix.
Papa Squat.
I would say no. It's too brilliant. Too good a name.
Papa Squat with former outspoken catcher Jonathan LaCroix.
Such a good idea.
Yeah.
Who were you doing there? That was just a helpful tip for the audience.
Sometimes I read the podcast bios.
Can I hear it again? Just
Papa Squat
Yeah.
with Jonathan LaCroix.
yeah.
I
Real.
gotta say no.
No.
It's fake.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right. With Winky Wright.
Yes. Who's Winky Wright?
Boxer from the early 2000s. Pretty good.
I say yes.
What's the name?
Yeah, right. With Winky Wright.
You can ask him to repeat it every time.
I say it's real.
What are you
Dan?
doing, Stugotz? What are you doing?
I just need to hear it again.
I know,
you
but
know?
you were typing while he was talking.
Yeah,
I was
right.
looking up Winky Wrights. I mean,
There's right, but it's his last name.
No, that's not. That's
One
not
of Nick
a podcast.
Wright's 50 podcasts.
That is a fake podcast.
oh, too bad.
Too bad, Winky.
Yeah.
Slab Lab with Dallas Braden. Slab Lab with Dallas Braden.
I'm playing percentages. One of these has to be real. I'm going to say it's real.
I gotta say no.
No, really. You think a group of people got together in a marketing mood, and they're like, "What do we call the mound? What do we call it? We want to teach people about the mound. The slab. What rhymes with slab? Slab Lab.
It's real.
Yeah.
Slab Lab with
Thank you.
Dallas Braden.
Yep. Wow. Know your podcast.
Roughhausen with Kelvin Gastelum.
Wow. Roughhausen. Can I hear it again?
Roughhausen
No, stop.
with
Will you-
Kelvin
Stugotz,
Gastelum.
Stugotz,
Okay.
this isn't a spelling bee. Can I hear it again?
No.
Sentence.
I say no. Fake pod.
Real pod?
No.
Fake pod.
Oh.
C-ball, get ball with David Pollock.
That's rising.
Yes.
See
Real
ball,
pod.
get ball is rising.
That is a real pod. Dan's all over these charts trying to win at this game. I don't know if it's
I've
because
been
he owns
studying.
a media business
I've been
or he wants
studying
to
them.
win.
What's next? Let me see if I got a Papa Squat.
The more you know with Al Groh.
It should be.
Oh.
See, that should
I'd
be.
listen to it.
No,
Al
you would
Groh.
not. Al Groh,
You're
one of the
right.
great boring interviews of all time. You would listen to
He
it.
grows on you.
Damn, that should have been the fake name. It's fake. Al Groh's
He,
not
he
podcasting.
grows on you with Al Groh. It's absolutely something I'd be more interested in.
Can you imagine him installing a podcast mic?
Locally here, the controversial story that I wanted to get to that really celebrates one of the great South Florida sports careers of all time. Teddy Bridgewater, what he has accomplished from Miami's streets in 15 years and Miramar's streets, what he has accomplished in the pros was impressive enough, just getting to the pros and being one of the few people allowed to play quarterback. But then coming here locally, becoming a state champion football coach, and now after he's left, being suspended for an investigation of, he evidently was using some of his wealth and helping out the kids.
Imagine that.
And
They won the state championship last
Yeah,
year.
pretty
yeah,
good
but
coach.
it's like this is the rare instance. I mean, you get so few of these where an athlete is getting suspended and everyone is siding with the athlete. Where Teddy Bridgewater's like, I'll take my suspension. You guys don't realize I don't work there anymore. You can't suspend me. And also, I did a nice thing for people because I'm rich.
So he was a volunteer coach, so he didn't get a salary. And the suspension, I believe, is for improper benefits, which sounds, not great until you see what the improper benefits were. And according to Jordan Schultz, Bridgewater personally covered $14,000 for training camp, $9,500 for team pride sets, $2,000 a week for pregame meals, $1,300 a week for recovery, $700 a week for Ubers, and more. And that's what he is being suspended for.
Yeah, he ran a football factory and won the state championship because he came out of the huddle as a professional quarterback with millions and decided to run a little local team to the state championship.
And he didn't take a salary. I mean,
little local team, the ragtag Northwestern.
They're
Bowl.
better than the Jets. I mean,
But like him, he was like talked about as the head coach of the team. Like I would hear Big Dog talking on the way in.
Right. No,
He can't. So
How
it's
the
just
girls
like
treating you?
A technicality, where it's just like he is the head coach, but technically I'm a volunteer.
You got to work on that rusty Big Dog.
How the ladies treating you?
Yes.
Always the first question.
Teddy Bridgewater. I know that Stugotz was in Tahoe telling Kachuk that he's on the Mount Rushmore, and I don't think anybody's going to put Bridgewater on the Mount Rushmore. But in terms of South Florida athletes who have had a long and distinguished career that has given South Florida pride, I ask you this question. Locally, doesn't South Florida take more pride in Teddy Bridgewater than in Lamar Jackson?
He's more Miami. He's seen as more local, right? Lamar Jackson was Palm Beach, right? Like Boca or
yeah.
Or anybody.
Not quite Miami.
Doesn't Teddy Bridgewater represent South Florida? When I think of greatest athletes in the history of South Florida, okay, Canseco's in there somewhere. I don't know who the top 4 would be for you guys, but I'm talking about people who grew up here and then rode, like the Venus and Serena Williams.
Yeah. At Class Act, there's a pretty wide gulf between the top tier and Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah. He's not even Udonis Haslam level, because Udonis, when he was a pro, he did it here too in the same community. But that being said, what Teddy did with Northwestern last year, while he was the face of that program, leaving, remember, he had opportunities. He did try to ring chase a little bit there with the Detroit Lions, but he had suitors still in the NFL, and he wanted to give back to his high school program. And I think over time, if he remains down here coaching in the local ranks, his legacy will only grow.
How's this story going to get corrupted in coming days, though? Is someone going to say, no, he was buying players? Like, how is this?
That's probably, I mean, it can be, that's why he's being suspended. This is a perk. Keep in mind, as of last year in this state, high school athletes can receive NIL money. The state legalized that. So there are more proper ways to make sure some of your athletes at your high school programs get financially compensated.
Northwestern should build a statue of this guy, not suspend him.
Yep, promote him. Yes.
Dawn Staley shouldn't get a statue, but
Right.
Teddy Bridgewater should.
It's a local statue.
Right.
There are local statues and national statues.
It's a different statue.
Now he wants statues.
Teddy
But a
deserves
local one.
Teddy deserves a statue right in front of the school.
Now,
okay, but
while this is obviously awesome that he's doing it for these kids, it is not fair to other schools, right? That one school can have somebody with a lot of money.
What, that they have a coach that's willing to coach for free and use his money to make the team better?
I wish every school had a Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
I'm not anti what he's doing, but I do get the aspect of this is not, like, we don't have this. Like, if I'm another school that doesn't have a former NFL quarterback as my coach.
How will local South Florida high school football programs be able to compete with this ragtag Northwestern program?
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Chris Cody, can you get me that Francesa sound, please? Because I wanted to talk a little bit about Superman and the movies with David Samson from Nothing Personal. Greg Cody yesterday had a blasphemous statement, I thought, on the movie Jaws, celebrating its 50th anniversary. Greg Cody, I thought, was the only person in the world who had this public take that was eviscerating Jaws as a movie, doesn't hold up, and just savaging it in every direction, when I'm pretty sure he couldn't mention and name an actor from Ocean's 11.
what does that got to do with Jaws?
Yeah.
It's a
Dean
non sequitur.
Dean Martin. I would have fed it to you, but I know you just would have been like, that's right.
That's a good point. But don't misquote me on Jaws. What I said was the Jaws, the shark itself, was very fake, and it doesn't hold up well. 50 years later, you look back on it, you almost laugh through the movie now because look at that. Look at what was scaring everybody 50 years ago. Come on.
I think that's fair. I think at the time, Jaws was amazing. It was trailblazing.
Yes.
But Dan, I mean, 50 years later, that thing does not hold up.
All right. Put it on the poll. Does Jaws hold up at Le Batard Show? Also, I will just say again, as I did yesterday, that Steven Spielberg could have made exactly the same movie. And if indeed they'd gone with the title, What's That Gnawing on My Leg, Spielberg would not have had a career after Jaws. It would have ended right there. David Samson is with us now, but Jeremy had a number of objections yesterday to you, Greg Cody, and I want to start this as a new segment or something just where somebody listens to the previous day's show that they were not on and comes with their critique of how poorly we covered something. Jeremy had objection to how it is that you were celebrating the Midsummer All-Star Game Classic.
We go into All-Star Week, and the two things that we spoke about in baseball were Greg complaining that a young phenom is going to get to pitch on a national stage, and then accusing the coolest story in Major League Baseball, now home run derby champion Cal Raleigh, of being on steroids. Because we can't enjoy anything.
Okay.
Nothing can be cool. Nothing can be exciting. Having joy around something in sports, we have to be jaded. We have to undercut it. And it sucks. It was so shitty that we had to just spend our baseball coverage on that. So what? We could celebrate Conor McGregor? I mean, really?
Okay, let me make a couple of comments real quick. I stand behind not allowing a guy who's pitched 5 career games.
Behind it or by it?
To be an instant all-star.
Behind it, he said.
I stand behind that.
Yeah.
I stand by it. I stand just in front of it.
Good.
I stand all around it. I'm a
Attaboy.
wall
You're
around
entrenched.
that.
Yes.
I'm a wall around that opinion.
Yep.
Okay, as for this guy, Cal Raleigh, I never said he was on steroids. I said that we have come to a point where when somebody comes out of nowhere and hits 38 home runs by the break, it would be natural to wonder, and that's a sad situation.
Which is why I ended up receiving multiple messages last night after celebrating the home run derby with "that guy's on roids." I've only been thinking about it since you guys brought it up today.
Okay.
All
So
right. He might be or he might not be.
No, he's not.
No, don't do that.
Okay,
But
what
we don't
else?
know
how do
that
you know,
certainly.
Jeremy?
Yeah, he
I mean,
might and he might not
right.
be.
Because the... Okay.
I bet
That's
you
how we're
thought
gonna
in
celebrate sports?
1998, yeah,
He's
Mark
got you.
McGuire and Sammy Sosa were clean.
Okay.
You know, this is the first year, I think, since 1998 where there's 4 players with 30 homers or more at the All-Star break. Really cool for baseball, but, you know, it's a shame.
You got to wonder.
Steroids.
Yeah,
Fool
another-
me
I think
once.
5 players.
Another quick thing about Cal Raleigh. We all love a great nickname, right? Even when it's a ridiculous one. Nothing extraordinary about his ass. Just nothing out of the ordinary. He has a
Really?
normal, for a man his size, for a man his height and weight, he has a very average derriere. Okay? I'm going to be the one to say it.
It's no Larry Fitzgerald. I'm with you. It's been overhyped.
Yeah,
When you hear Big Dumper, everyone's talking about it. Base broadcast zooming in on it. I did see it. I was a little underwhelmed.
It's an average bum.
His dad's was terrible. Terrible butt for the dad.
Yeah.
Almost non-existent.
All right, so David Sampson's been waiting here for 4 minutes. He's perturbed. Go ahead, David. Do you have any commentary? Chris Cody hasn't been able to get off all his derby takes. Chris Cody came in here. I've rarely seen him this excited to talk about something that was on television the day before.
I have a lot to say on it. I don't like I thought ESPN. I did not see how many. I've never missed more home runs in a home run derby than last night. I don't know who was running their cameras. It was the worst job ever. It was still an enjoyable derby, though. We had a kid rob a home run. Cal Raleigh getting into the semifinal by less than an inch. If I'm Brent Rooker, I am like, this is bullshit. He literally, because the way they do it is they all go the first round. The top 4 home runs make it through. There was a tie for 4th, 17 home runs each, and it's judged by the longest home run distance. Less than an inch was Cal Raleigh's furthest home run.
It's a game of inches.
That is just so hard to track. I want to see the replay of those 2 home runs.
Yeah,
David,
seriously.
talk to me. Like, I was furious on Brent Rooker's behalf.
I told part of a story on this morning's Nothing Personal about how we did it in 2017 and how you would just be absolutely shocked when we had Stanton and Bohr and Aaron Judge won that home run derby. Before the home run derby, we had gone into the outfield with the architect and we had assigned distances to different sections. So if a home run lands in left field, 5 rows up, it's 405. If it lands in right field, 10 rows up, it's 442. And if it's 11 rows up, it's 444. And so that we had a chart. And what you do is even during the regular season, you have a chart. And when someone hits a home run, you have the PR guy in the press box who looks at the chart and then gets on the microphone. You've all been in a press box. Home run number 18 by Dan Uggla, 422 feet. And everyone writes it down and says, all right, he hit one 422. We totally make it up. It's completely based on working with the architect on a general range of where the ball lands. Now, is it true in today's analytic world that they can measure a home run by the inch? I highly doubt it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
And imagine that. Imagine giving the benefit of the doubt by less than an inch to the wonderkind Cal Raleigh and wanting him to advance.
So now not
Imagine
only
that.
questioning
What a
whether or not
coincidence.
he's on performance-enhancing drugs, but whether or not the home run derby was rigged in his favor, because
Correct.
David, the guy who made up attendance numbers, says that he also made up how far home runs were hit when there is actual data behind all of it. I just love us being the
Jeremy,
questioning
we're
people.
not saying it's rigged. We're just saying it's ridiculous that they're trying to tell us that they know for a fact that one home run ball went less than an inch further than another. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, using the StatCast data is probably better than just making it up. But
The
I
rule
don't
should
know.
be if it's less than a foot, we do a hit off.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing here?
Jack
less
off.
than an inch?
It's got to be a jack
Hey.
off.
All right.
What do
That
you-
too.
A hit off.
Swing off, they call it, don't
I
they?
didn't want to say a jack
It's
off.
a swing off, Dan. It's not a jag off.
Thank you. Swing off.
You're hitting jacks, yes or no?
Yes.
I thought you said jag off.
A jack off.
Okay,
jack
hold
off.
on a second. This guy.
Thank you.
Jag off
this
would
guy-
be Trevor Lawrence or Mark
You
Brunell.
know what? Jesus, Samson, keep up, would you?
I mean, first one to come wins.
Look what you've done, Samson.
What happened?
Look, you lured out. Look, you lured out the subtlety of Stugotz. You guys didn't even notice this. It was a wonderful moment in the middle of all of that nonsense. All right, right in the middle of it. Stugotz, with you guys arguing about the stupidity of this measurement system, said, "It's a game of inches, Dano," and then whispered in my ear. That was a bleeping tight ass window. I got that in. Like I still got my
Chris took a breath,
I still
I mean.
got my fastball, baby. It's a game of inches, Dano. It is a game of inches, and conspiracy theorists unite. We will foul up wonderful stories. We will question a man's ass and say it is insufficient for us that we don't believe he deserves his fun nickname.
Right.
Because
Live up to the nickname.
I have no conspiracy theory about this. I'm not saying anything was rigged. I'm just saying it's absurd that you're trying to tell me that that was decided by less than an inch. It's ridiculous.
I have to believe that broadcast had some major issues because they put Ravitch and our friend Eduardo on field level, and they were blocked by players, so couldn't see. So what you hear is, oh, that one's deep, and then they would show it falling like in short right field. And so they weren't able to really see the ball. And then the cameras weren't proper, so
Terrible.
I couldn't see.
Yeah.
513 feet, I want to see it. I want to live with that for like 15 seconds. And instead, I don't even know what happened. No replay, no nothing, except some sort of funky thing which shows the ball hitting the bat. Don't care. I want to see how far it goes. I think that ESPN had some definite issues there. But that said, home run derbies are really hard for the players. They're super, super tired. And you got to compliment Junior Caminero. The ability to hit 8 home runs and to advance knowing that you only needed 8. Going second is the greatest advantage ever, but it didn't work in the final round. But generally, it's a huge advantage.
you guys were really excited about this thing.
It was great.
It was fun to watch.
It was long.
But I'm with it was
very
frustrating and fun. I felt like I didn't see half the home runs. You were just seeing the ticker count up. It's like, didn't see that one. Didn't see that one.
The pitches are too quick. By the time the ball lands, the guy's pitching again already.
Because there's a clock.
Yeah.
I mean, they changed the format again, but this one seemed to work better than the previous ones, and they got away from the bracket until the second rounds when they got back to the bracket, which was fine. I mean, it was okay. They're tinkering with it still. We're never going to see 28 in a round again like we did with Josh Hamilton, just because they keep changing the rules.
I was going to text Jeremy before the home run derby tonight. America gets to meet my beloved Junior Caminero.
Oh, that guy's good.
Well, but
What a
I
swing.
discovered him.
eyebrows.
Well, but he.
Those eyebrows are fantastic.
They really are.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I
rate-
was discovering that guy last night.
I took a flyer on
Well,
him.
but so he came up to the big leagues early last year, and as soon as I saw him swing, I'm like, He hits everything. Everything's a line drive. He's got a beautiful swing, and he's just starting his career.
In 2023, Julio Rodriguez hit 41.
Did he also make the All-Star game after 4 games?
Somebody was talking there. Do you not listen when other people here are talking? Billy was giving information there, and you just steamrolled him, so we didn't understand either one of you.
Yeah, I didn't know who started first. I thought I started first.
Let's try it again.
Did you not hear him? Were you not listening? Because you just kept talking. He was giving information, trying to run you off the road, and it didn't seem at any point like you knew Billy was talking.
Right. Yeah, when somebody tries to run me off the road, I put both hands on the wheel. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Greg is that asshole that won't let anybody in.
You have to.
If somebody's like got the blinker on, like, hey, I missed the I need to get in here. My dad will speed up to the car in front of him. Like, no, you can't. Right. You're doing it to someone else, not me.
I apologize, Billy. I apologize.
It's okay.
You know, the working conditions in here, I'm sweating like a pig.
Very hot.
It's like 1,000 degrees in here.
Well, it's because you're wearing that same shirt you wear every day, and it's a long sleeve shirt, and it's the middle of summer.
There's also the pandemic. You had the mask.
Yeah, I mean, it's
bad
not,
arm
it's
week.
not just that's like a sauna bath in here.
I want to give baseball credit because I was not going to watch the All-Star game, not even on a second or third screen today. But I did ask Jeremy a question, and he looked it up. And apparently, Major League Baseball is going back to players representing their teams by wearing their primary home and road uniforms. And that was always aesthetically pleasing. I stopped watching the Major League All-Star Game when they just wore these uniforms that were cash grabs, that they wanted to sell these jerseys. I used to tune in and love to see the spectrum of colors and see all the different teams' uniforms on the field at the exact same time.
What's a Royal doing here?
Major League Baseball, credit to you. This is the right call.
I said earlier we were never going to see 28 home runs in a round again after Josh Hamilton in 2023. Julio Rodriguez hit 41 in a round.
That's what he was trying to say when you ran him off the road. But let's
What was Greg saying?
Let's explore. Yes, let's explore both that and what your son is examining, which is you are the Miami driver that is the most stubborn of all of the history of Miami drivers.
He is road rage. Like,
Petty.
the man gets angry.
Petty.
behind
Well,
the wheel.
he will be in his car, and if he has felt in any way like you are being an inconsiderate driver, he will stubbornly behave with his car the way he has for 70 years as a human.
He hasn't been driving for 70 years.
Thank you,
refusing to yield an inch. Thank you, an important correction.
Yeah.
54 years he's been driving stubbornly, and his car represents him. And you were saying what when you ran Billy off the road?
I can't even recall.
Oh.
It's fine. We move forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apparently
we went
it was
back
a big
to it.
deal because Le Batard keeps going back to it. But I'm a kind driver.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for adding nothing.
Wait a minute. I thought you were the one being penalized for adding nothing.
No.
You're the one who brought up that I interrupted Billy. That's adding nothing.
Right.
This is a travesty.
It's cooler in there, though, Greg.
Seriously, I'm going to come back wearing a towel.
Come back
sitting
shirtless.
on a rock. It's like a sauna
That's
in
fine.
here.
Come back shirtless, or go sauna. Go sauna in the sauna room shirtless. That'll be a good visual for us. My beloved Rays are going to sell for $1.7 billion. And your thoughts were what there, David? Because they are a remarkable major league run team that feels minor league in every way, even though they're smarter than just about anybody about how to teach people how to play correct baseball.
Yeah, I don't really look at them as minor league at all. They are the model franchise, and getting $1.7 billion for that, it's really on the come. And you're hoping that the owner doesn't run into a housing crisis because his money comes from home building, basically. But it's a great exit for Stu Sternberg. He very much wanted to relocate the team back to New Jersey or somewhere in the Northeast, and baseball under Bud and Rob, they were just never going to allow it. He was never going to do the Montreal deal. He was never going to build in St. Petersburg, and the hurricane ended up being the perfect out, and he got a price that he and his investors wanted, and now it's an issue that baseball has to deal with because they have a new owner at a high cost basis, $1.7 billion, who is running a team who is going to be very much in favor of opportunities to win, therefore trying to eliminate the payroll disparities that exist between, say, the Dodgers and the Rays, and will become an issue in terms of the vote and a new collective bargaining agreement. So you're trading in one problem for another. Sometimes it's the devil you know, But that trade at 1.7, for me, it's a negative for baseball, not a positive. The Orioles went for 1.73. And what you're trying to do is be like the NBA or NFL, where your prices continue to go up into the multi-billions, and it just didn't happen.
Wait, so you think I've got this wrong on Tampa reputationally because of the lack of a stadium and because the previous stadium they had wasn't a major league stadium in any way? That Tampa reputationally, I know inside baseball, everyone knows how smart and major league they are.
I think they've done enough where no one is treating them or viewing them as a minor league franchise
So
anymore.
you don't think that reputationally Tampa selling for less than Baltimore is something that happens because Baltimore's major league and because Tampa's not?
No. A prospective owner does not do that, does not look at that. They're doing pro formas, and they're deciding how much money has to be put into a new ballpark in Tampa, and then they're trying to hit the bid that Stu wanted for him and his investors. So, no, it's not related to that at all. Listen, the Marlins sold for 1.2, and people viewed them as a minor league team, and at the time, that's 8 years ago, that was a large price. So I would tell you that it's a big deal for baseball as it relates to expansion. Getting a ballpark done in Tampa eliminates the Tampa issue. Hopefully the Vegas issue is done, so the A's are taken care of. And now you get to the business of getting to 32 teams, which is what baseball has wanted to do for 10 years, if not more. And the ability to get to 8 divisions of 4 teams, total realignment, to get money in owners' pockets in terms of expansion fees. Everything that Rob wanted and the owners wanted can happen, but this Rays transaction had to happen first.
What kind of driver are you?
So I used to have tremendous rage because of my general frustration tolerance issues, and it got cured when I got threatened, and I'm not a big guy, and I was at a light, and the guy didn't move fast enough. I want, when it turns green,
you go.
I want you to be on the gas.
You're revving.
I don't want there to be a pause. I don't want you to be looking at your phone or changing the channel. I want you going because I'm annoyed enough that I had the red light. So I leaned on the horn, and the driver didn't move. Then he got out of the car.
Oh, boy.
And that was it. That was the last time that I had road rage because I figured I was boxed in. There was a car behind me. There was no way out. If that guy had Kevin Costner me and all of a sudden he had a gun, I was done. And my road rage got cured that day. I will never forget. I could pick that guy out of a lineup.
It literally scared the out of you.
I mean, no, not literally, because I didn't crap my pants. So no, incorrect. But it scared me straight. And basically, I now do not engage in road rage because the stakes seem way too high to me.
Did you offer him 2 free tickets to the Marlins game that night and say, "Do you know who I am"?
Do I love where your head's at? I did not do a Vince Namoli, who got pulled over by the cops as owner of the Rays and said, "Do you know who I am?" And they said, "Great, here's your ticket, jackass." So no, I never do that. When I'm pulled over, and I've gotten pulled over many times for speeding, I never pull a "Do you know who I am?" I do it better. I give the license, and then they run the name, and then they come back with a "We know who you are." And so that's always more effective than you saying, "Do you know who I am?" Excellent. It's better for you to respond when the person says, yes, "I know who you are."
And then
great
they
advice.
Double and triple the fine when they realize who you are.
Yep.
Oh, there's no question. I get a ticket every single time.
I can't believe that some of that hasn't rubbed off, that you can't get away with any of that anymore. You get pulled over these days, you're not going to get, "I know who you are."
Yeah, but he pays for it with public money, so he's fine.
Well, there are lawyers around, and Miami has so many. God bless all of them. They take care of it. You pay them a couple shekels, and you get no points, no problem, no appearances, and you pay the money and move right along. Yeah. So that's always been fine for me with speeding tickets that I've gotten.
FakeHoward.com. Can we talk a little bit about the Phillies whimpering about the same thing that Greg Cody was whimpering about, that he does not want a Brewers phenom in the game with 5 pitching appearances when the Phillies have 2 pitchers who have been a great deal better than he has been?
I was just shocked to hear Greg talk, because what it meant is Greg didn't do the research. And Greg, you are the king of research and the best columnist in Miami next to Dave Hyde. Explain to me how you didn't know that Christopher Sanchez was asked to be an all-star and declined. Explain how you didn't know that Ranger Suarez was asked to be an All-Star and declined.
Okay.
So it's not like they didn't have an opportunity and they whined and whimpered as though they were overlooked, and that's not at all what happened.
Okay, I didn't mention either of those Phillies pitchers in my argument. My argument stood on its own, which is that on principle and by common sense, a guy with 5 career games in the major leagues should not be arbitrarily appointed to an All-Star team. Period.
What's the number, Greg? Is it Dontrell's 13? Is that good?
Yeah, because that for a pitcher, that's like half a season. This is 5 games. I think it's absurd. I think it's an insult to baseball history. David, who's the best player that you know of, or perhaps that played for you, who spent a whole career, a solid, good career, and never made an All-Star team? That's the guy I'm thinking of who's been insulted by this.
There's a ton of great players. The first one that came to my mind, and I'd have to check it, but would be Juan Pierre.
There you go.
I don't know that he was ever named as an All-Star, and he would have been an All-Star for me several years in a row, in 3, 4, and 5. But I may be wrong. But someone can check that for me.
You're
I'm
right,
just
David.
not. So he deserved to be an All-Star. There's no question about it. And to me, he was. But you're talking about the fact that there's 80 All-Stars tonight. 80.
Which
That's
is ridiculous.
like over 10% of the league are All-Stars because of all these rules where if you pitch Sunday or if you just don't want to go to Atlanta, you still get an All-Star. The Phillies paid the bonus to Sanchez like he was an All-Star. Give me a break. So we're going to have 80 introductions, and my view is that it should be 26 guys. All of them should play. And when you're taken out of the game for a pinch hitter, you may remember this from 2017. If you've ever covered an All-Star game, Greg, you go to the post-game clubhouse, they're all gone. They've gotten on their planes and bailed. My view is they should all be forced to stay the whole game, and they should be allowed to re-enter the game. So when Aaron Judge is pinch hit for tonight in the 4th inning, and the 9th inning, I want to do the Stugotz golden at bat. Let him bat in the 9th inning against a great closer. It's an all-star game. It's an exhibition. I don't want to watch the scrubs. That's a bad way to say it. I don't want to watch the worst of the best at the end of the game. I'd rather have the best of the best at the end.
David, did you ever try to keep one of your players out of the All-Star game because that player would have made a bonus if he made the All-Star game?
No. So I loved paying the All-Star bonuses. We did it $25,000, some $50,000. With Pudge Rodriguez, we had a clause that if he were ever World Series MVP, he'd get $250,000. And to me, it was the best money you could ever spend because it adds to your bottom line because you get attention. The fact that Kyle Stowers is an All-Star is really good for the Marlins. And the fact that he can use it in arbitration as a special accomplishment is worth probably 50 to 100 grand in your arbitration number when you've got special accomplishments before you're arbitration eligible. And I'm all in favor of that because I loved the attention of having Marlins players in the All-Star game.
Kirk Gibson was never selected as an All-Star. He was twice named as a reserve player in 1985 and 1988, but declined both invitations to spend the break with his family.
That's a good list. I'd like to, if you want to give, Greg Cody was fighting on behalf of a player whose name he could not remember.
Right.
He's just saying a fictional player that it is very purposeful cause of yours on behalf of players that you couldn't remember any examples of.
You okay?
Billy,
Travis Hafner never made an All-Star game.
That's a crazy one because he had a year where he led all of Major League Baseball in OPS plus. Like he finished top 5 in MVP voting. He finished top 8 in MVP voting. 24th the year before that. Not one All-Star game. That's pretty unbelievable to think about. He was an amazing hitter for a few years there.
He was strikeout or hit 50 home runs before it was popular.
Tim Salmon never made an All-Star game.
These are good lists.
Wow.
And the guy with 5 games gets in.
Wow.
A joke.
He's electric, Greg. You should watch him tonight.
Yeah,
You're going to have so much fun.
I should watch him for about another 20 games and see if he earns his way into an All-Star game.
He's going to pitch tonight, and he's going to blow a 103. That is my prediction. He'll throw the fastest pitch of any of the pitchers tonight, and I think you will see a 103 out of him tonight.
Okay, how about you call up a guy just before the All-Star game. The guy hits a home run in his first at-bat. He should be an All-Star too. He was electric in that at-bat. We don't need to see him more than one at-bat. He's fine. 5 games, plenty.
You're doing apples to oranges, Greg. That's not exactly how it worked. His 5 starts have been staggeringly good, record-breaking. He actually went against some of the best pitchers, and the team, the Brewers, are 55-40, one game back at the Cubs, one of the best records in all of baseball. And what's wrong with promoting a story? Like Mark Fidrich, of course you want to make him an all-star. Sid Finch, you want to make him an all-star because you want people who will be watched, and everyone but you, and believe me, you're not the demographic that baseball cares about. Right. People will be watching Mizorowski.
Okay, everybody but me and 1,000 other people. A million other people.
Breaking news, Stugotz, I am willing to report exclusively midsummer here. Peter Schrager has got it. I am looking at him on camera. He just came out of Get Up, and he was leaning against his desk.
Oh, wow.
He was not just on camera. He was leaning against his desk. Peter Schrager, who's going to be a big part of all NFL coverage on ESPN, I am reporting exclusively, has got it.
The it factor?
That's the news that he's got it.
Yeah,
That's it. Oh,
yes.
and Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper are still free agents.
Cesar Tovar never made an all-star team.
Eric Chavez.
Greg Cody has called this all-star decision, okay, a joke, a disgrace, and, my favorite, criminal. A crime against baseball.
It is a crime against baseball. Okay, because is David still on? Or did he,
yes.
Where are you looking?
Here. Yeah. He's just looking around until he sees David.
Why'd you just look into the sky?
Okay, David.
He was hoping to see David.
David, you know this. There's a place for a guy who's pitched 5 games and has really impressed people. It's called the Futures Game. It was played Saturday, I believe.
That's a great point.
No.
Greg, you actually did very well there. I mean, that breaking news was tough to shake.
Yeah.
You had to deal with
you transitioned out of it, yes.
What was that? Peter Schrager has it.
Schrager has it.
Yeah, I can understand how it's disorienting.
Yeah, it really was. It was so ridiculous. Peter Schrager.
The Futures Game is for people with not one career at-bat or one career inning pitched. It's all minor leaguers, Greg.
Bend the rules.
This guy had
so bend the rules for that.
This guy had like 14 innings pitched, and we're like,
yes,
not that much.
It's ridiculous.
You want to get some eyeballs on the Future Game, though. Greg is right.
I feel like I'm transported to another time. LeBron to Miami and arguing about the All-Star Game.
In Greg's defense, if
it's
the
a time
season,
machine.
the season ended today, he'd still be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
There's a pitcher pitching tonight in the All-Star Game who's played 5 more games than I have.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
He's only made one more pitching appearance this season than Marlins rookie utility infielder Javier Sanoja.
There you go.
Criminal, Greg Cody has said.
Crime against baseball.
Jeremy, that is the most irrelevant stat
Of
ever.
course it is. Of course it is. But it's fun.
Yeah.
But it backed me up.
Baseball,
so I
baby.
appreciated it. Yeah.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for adding nothing.
I mean, you reported Schrager had it.
Delayed call. Seriously. It's a delayed call.
To me, that's a major penalty for Dan because when we want to train people, when they hear that noise, that they need to pay attention, that something major is about to happen.
Right.
And then he drops a Schrager's got it. And now when people hear the noise going forward, they're going to assume it's just a joke.
Yep. Good point, David.
David, the Red Sox have won 10 straight, and they traded away Rafael Devers. And I'm wondering, is that like the best feeling for like a GM to trade away a guy, the fan base gets really mad at you, and your team is better without said guy? How good does that feel?
It's the dream. We root for everyone we trade away to stink. We want them to get hurt. We want them to be bad. It's like when you sell a stock and pretend you don't look at what the stock does after you sell it. Of course, everybody looks. We just say we don't. And that's what I said for all those years. But I always looked at people we traded. I didn't feel happy. I love Miguel Cabrera, but when he won the Triple Crown, I was like, are you kidding me? It's like a pile-on. Of course, you then congratulate him and you're happy for him. But no, you definitely want Devers to be bad. You want the Giants to finish behind the Diamondbacks, and you want to catch the Yankees because then you get to do a big fat I told you so off the record to all the journalists and all the fans. And to me, that is major, the ability to do I told you so. I used to love that.
Whose downfall were you happiest for?
Al Leiter.
Wow. Likable Al Leiter.
Yeah, when his first game after we released him, he pitched a great game on Sunday Night Baseball.
And that
great
hurt,
game.
right? And that hurt.
Oh,
you.
my
Yes.
God. I was despondent, but then he stunk.
Wait, so can you put us there? As Leiter is stinking it up, you're watching these games. What are you doing, David?
I'm waiting for the owner to call and waiting for him to be angry that we made a decision to move on from him. And all of a sudden he's performing for one of the New York teams and on Sunday Night Baseball, which back then meant something. And the Marlins could never get on Sunday Night Baseball and yada, yada, yada. You're eating crow thinking, wait a minute, did we designate the wrong guy? You really want confirmation bias for all your personnel decisions. And you only get that through bad performance. And so you wait for the bad performance, and that's when you pounce with the owner and you say, look, we did the right thing. And so what I would do, back then there were clippings. It was really before people were using the internet too much. But we would do actual clip packages every day. And what I would do is I would highlight the articles that were game recaps from players we had traded or designated who had bad games for their team. And I would do the box score or do the line of the game story to make sure the owner saw.
Nothing personal, though.
David, when you famously bilked taxpayers and got a stadium built, you got an All-Star Game. I'm wondering if any memories pop up there, good and bad, with when you guys hosted the All-Star Game.
Boy, that was fun. The home run derby was so much fun. I will tell you that I was upset about the bracket situation. I tried to not have brackets back then in 17 because the way the brackets were shaking out, I thought Justin Bohr would have a problem, and he did. And he should have advanced because he was that good. And in today's game, he would have advanced. I wanted Stanton to defend his title and win back-to-back derbies. Having Judge win was disappointing but exciting for fans, no doubt, as he won the home run derby at Marlins Park. It was phenomenal dealing with the Players Union and the Commissioner's Office when Aaron Judge hit the roof with the BP home run derby practice, and we had never had a ball hit the roof before. So I remember that clear as day. But I also remember that I was very worried about my son who was on the field shagging because it's all connections. And I was worried that he was going to get doinked. And then you watch like last night when the kid does a home run robbery, which I think should have been an out, by the way.
Yes.
If you catch the ball, it's not a home run.
Correct.
But the umpire ruled it a home run, which I think is wrong. I think that kid should be lauded. That's what they're there for, to try to rob home runs.
What?
It's like the dream.
Yep.
What are you talking about?
100%.
That's what they're there for.
All those kids are there to catch home run balls. Look at the catch that this kid made. He is over the wall. This is a major league catch.
That's a baby wall, though.
Wall's
Come
like
on.
5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than 5 feet tall. There's no walls below 5 feet. But that said, it's a great catch. And for you to deny it all you want. But that's not a home run. Under all scenarios, that's not a home run. And I remember clear as day.
Not all scenarios, because it was a home run.
Well, the
kid
scenario
caught it.
last night.
Right.
The scenario last night made it a home run. But I had a big discussion with my wife at the time about having my son on the field because I thought it would be really cool for him. He was 14 years old. But I've been out there when fly balls are hit. And let me tell you, I don't know, Dan, if you've ever asked your staff this. Wink, wink, I know you have. None of you could catch a fly ball.
Yeah,
Not one of
we
you.
did this a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Mike Ryan thinks he could catch
course I
one
can.
barehanded. He
Zero
thinks
chance.
David,
He thinks
David,
Zero.
I could
David,
get 85 out of 100.
David,
Zero chance.
how much you want to bet, David?
I will go to a major, if we can get this done, we'll go to a major league batting practice. You stand there and shag, or, I mean, during a game would be insane when you see a ball hit you during a game.
That wouldn't be allowed,
Not during
probably.
a game, David.
But during BP, I
Can we-
do not think
Can we
you would
stop
catch a line
talking
drive.
about it and just do it, okay? Because I'm so tired. You guys as a show, okay? This is. And I'm still waiting for Stugotz's penalty kicks against an MLS goalie. Like either do this or don't, but stop talking about it.
You should be able, Billy, to call on the Marlins and to do a whole thing where they let you into Marlins Park and they let you during a BP session go into the outfield and you stand there and try to catch any of the balls, no matter whether you played college ball or not. It's really hard to do.
What is the movie you're reviewing for us this week?
I'm taking a chance here, and it's okay if you guys are going to be upset. I watched the Barbara Walters documentary, and it's on Hulu, and it's called Tell Me Everything. And Barbara Walters is quite a story. I only knew her as the person who made people cry when she was interviewing stars and politicians, etc. I didn't realize what she went through prior to becoming the Barbara Walters I knew. I didn't realize the misogyny of the news people like Peter Jennings and others, rest in peace, who were just mean to her because she was a woman news person, and she was incredible. And so this documentary goes through her entire story, and I love her because she chose work over family, and I dig it. That is the right decision to make, to choose work over family, and she did it.
David, we're laughing at something you said there. Just to be clear, you weren't aware that old-timey newsmen were misogynistic?
I knew they were smoking on set, but it didn't occur to me that they were that way, that they would be that way.
I mean, it's quite frankly the archetype.
It's also weird to say big-time misogynist, rest in peace.
Yeah, that too. You did that one too. You managed to do both of those.
You're welcome. It happens to be a great documentary, and her daughter is on it. And her daughter acknowledges, my mom was just never around. She was the working person. She was never good at marriage. She was never good at mothering. She was only good at working. And it was quite relatable to me. And so I appreciated what she had accomplished, and I just learned a lot. So if you're looking to learn about someone, Barbara Walters, tell me everything. It's worth your time.
Do they get into the relationship with Roy Cohn?
Yes, they do. That's a big one because, of course, a relationship with Roy Cohn is sort of bizarre. If people don't know that name, then you're not watching enough movies. Roy Cohn is one of the most recognizable legal names of the past century. I mean, along with the O.J. Simpson lawyers, Johnny Cochran and Kardashians and Barry Scheck.
How long is this list going to be? See you later, David. Good talking to you. A very important, prominent attorney, except for all these others who need to be more prominent in my memory list that I will keep and will haunt me the rest of the week. Good talking to you. See you later. There is something that is sort of diabolically delightful about seeing Greg Cody with that particular mustache. And I've asked Video to see if there's any public domain footage we can get of man in early 1900s running away from railroad tracks in black and white movie because of how sinister the mustache looks, but also good. Everyone is telling Greg Cody that this look works for him, that he looks better and younger than he normally does.
He does look good. I did say to him, because I saw it before the show, Dan, and I said, you look like a guy who would tie me up and leave me on the railroad. I mean,
that is what he gives off. So if we can find any video like that and pair it against what it is that Greg Cody looks like, I'd like that. But to see come from under that mustache, the helpful tip as we head into this segment, he's like, hey, Dan, a lot of laughs coming up. Fun segment with Congressman Max Frost coming up, huh? To have it come from that mustache, because we're going to be talking about Alligator Alcatraz and something that I probably think it goes without saying that you would know in 2025 feels an awful like something that doesn't feel terribly American to me.
Big shocker, but I'm a huge fan of Maxwell Frost.
You would.
Yes, that is not surprising anybody. So we're going to talk to him, though, because I do want people to understand the conditions down here. The Everglades are particularly cruel. It's the entire history of Florida makes it so none of us should be living on this land. You guys are feeling it right now just because the air conditioning has gone down for a couple of days. You guys are crawling around on your knees without mosquito issues in here. And I feel like everyone is broken, physically broken by the heat in here. I feel like makeup is running all over the place. Everyone's having troubles. Mm-hmm. Do I have this wrong? Greg Cody's complaining but he's also wearing a long sleeve shirt because he's having a bad arm day.
Well, he thought the AC was working. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
You guys don't pay the electric bills? How does that work?
It's not an electric bill thing. It is that when the summer gets really hot down here, the equipment is in some danger.
It's a common thing in the Northeast. When it gets hot, they have blackouts. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I can change the air filter if you need me to. Like, I'm versed.
Yeah, I know you're a handyman, as we've established.
Right.
Chris, I was asking you at the beginning of the Samson segment, and we wandered off. There's some Francesa sound talking about Superman that I'm told is delightful. Now, Francesa does have a real podcast. It's not a fake podcast. I don't know the name of that podcast. Does anyone off the top of their head know the Mike Francesa podcast name?
I think it's Mic'd Up, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, good guess. A reasonable guess. I would have assumed that might have been taken, but I think Mike Ryan had had mic'd up at some point.
I did
didn't
have a
he?
Chelsea mic'd up.
I had a Miami mic'd up.
Get this. It's called the Mike Francesa podcast.
Oh, wow.
Real or fake?
So
Fake.
let's listen to Mike Francesa here. He did not like Superman, evidently.
There's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog? I mean, we all like dogs, okay? And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive? I watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
It's good coverage.
He's right.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
I know.
You nerds. Crypto was a big part of the comics.
I mean, we all like dogs, okay?
He didn't want to get too far out there with the take, so he made sure that everyone understood. Look, I'm on the side of dogs.
I mean, we all like dogs,
I'm
okay?
a pro-dog
Pro
person,
dogs,
okay?
yeah.
But you don't need to be making them super. That could be just for a man. The super could be for a man. We don't need the dogs to also be super.
And I didn't like the dog getting beat on in the movie. It bothered me. But hey, who came up with a dog with a cape? When did that arrive?
It's a good question.
They had a meeting and they're like, get the dog a cape.
Well, how are you going to convey that the dog is super dog if it doesn't have a cape? How are you going to? Yeah, it needs to have a cape. Put it on the poll at Le Batard
Yeah,
Show.
but the dog got beat up.
I mean, once a dog starts flying around, I think it's pretty well established that this is a super
It
dog.
needs a cape. A bulldog without a cape flying around is ridiculous.
It's comic book accurate, and also credit to the filmmaker because it's hard to cover new ground with Superman, right?
You don't have a super dog if it's not wearing a cape. Put
I
it on.
watched Superman for years on television. I never saw a dog with a cape.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Can your dog truly and indeed be super if it doesn't have a cape? Now, I have not heard before. You guys, this was something that actually took me aback. I found surprising to hear it. It's obviously not something we can entertain in any way, but I really appreciated that Pete Alonso had thought it all this far through. We have talked before about the undercurrent, and it's not even an undercurrent, the overt way in which hockey fighting is allowed because it's a bunch of white dudes generally that are fighting, and whenever it is that basketball players fight, next thing you know, all the rules have to be changed because those players mostly aren't white. To find ourselves, what are you smiling about, Chris Cody?
I'm listening to you.
Just the show.
Yeah.
Well, you look like you were looking off into the distance dreamily on something.
Tell you what, all fights should be legal in all sports if they have to fight on ice.
Right.
Okay, so
and with helmets.
Yeah, like if they have to
gloves,
try to
right.
find a leverage point in a fight on ice, I'm good.
Okay, understood that you're making this distinction. It's not about race, it's about the skates. Fine, no problem.
Oh no, it's about race too, no doubt.
But Pete Alonso, have you heard any of this?
No.
Pete Alonso,
The polar bear.
He is advocating for something that I had not heard anyone advocate for with this kind of specificity.
He's asked if you can change any MLB rule, what would you change? And this is what his answer was.
One rule I could change, so I don't think people should get ejected after charging them out or fighting. So I think it should be hockey style. So no teams, no nothing, because that's when people can seriously get hurt. So I think there's a rule. If you want to go out and charge them out, then you should be able to. But if the pitcher or hitter or whoever charges, if they don't want to fight, they take a knee, and then they don't have to fight. But if someone charges them out, it's 1v1 hockey style, and then that's it.
I love that.
Wow.
That's inspired thinking, and the main reason that you hear about hockey being allowed to have fights when no one else has fights is these players are skating around. They're holding deadly weapons in their hand with these sticks. If you don't give them the fighting outlet, something really bad is going to happen. Well, a baseball is a projectile that can do some serious damage. You got guys with baseball bats in their hands, essentially clubs. I think you could apply the very same logic. And if it's in the state of Texas, you can clear it with police. As we learned yesterday, the Mariners can do this as well, and you can have a formal duel.
The optics, though, of kneeling.
Who's going to take a knee?
Who's
right.
you
the
don't wanna be
coward?
the-
Right.
Yeah, it's also going to lead to a very ugly incident where there is a dude taking a knee, and a guy's got a full head of steam, and he's full of rage, and he's still going to clock.
You're not allowed to take a knee on a field. We learned that a few years ago.
The thing that Pete Alonso is saying there is, I love the narcissism in all of this, but I also love the caveman in it. Because I imagine it's really frustrating to Pete Alonso that people are allowed to throw something at him at 100 miles an hour and he's got to go walk to first base or both dugouts are going to empty.
Yeah.
Right. So wherever it is that his most outrageously stubborn and dumb male pride resides. Oh, you give me the right to change any rule in baseball. Here's the rule. I want to be able to tear off my shirt and then tear off the head of the person in front of me. And if he doesn't want to fight, get on a knee in front of everybody, in front of America to say that you're afraid of me. And under those circumstances, I can be king of the sport. It's such a great idea for him to have to take out all of his years of resentment. Because I imagine, Stugotz, I don't know, as you guys laugh at, why should this guy be in the All-Star game because he throws 104 miles an hour? The idea of standing against somebody who might hit me in the wrist or elbow with a 104-mile-an-hour fastball, if I had to do that as a career for 20 years, I'd like to beat the holy hell out of every pitcher with a bat. Like, if that was my life, if I went to bed before games at night knowing someone's coming inside at 99.
I said, who's going to kneel? But if Peter Alonso is running at you, probably a good idea to kneel.
I don't know. I think that if he's going to say you have to be that publicly coward, then just run into the outfield. Because so that
maybe lay down.
So now you're running away.
No, so we avert the situation Mike's talking about, which is someone in submission getting ravaged anyway. Then the teams can get involved, authorities, everyone
You just lay
else.
down on the grass like you're taking a midday
Fetal
nap.
position.
You
Yes.
gotta get a knee to the face, Shining Wizard style.
All right, so Greg Cody here prefaced this segment with a lot of laughs. Yes, there are not a lot of laughs here, but we've talked to Maxwell Frost before, and to the degree that we could take some of the politics out of this, I don't know that we can. The congressman is joining us, Florida's 10th district, and he's had a chance to take a look at least at the parts of Alligator Alcatraz, and so I don't know what is factual, what is inhumane. I know how all of this looks. I know how it's all purposely meant to look. What can you give us in the way of facts about what is happening in Swampland when it looks optically from over here that this is just cruel stuff and human beings being used as propaganda pieces?
That's exactly right, man. I mean, it's just cruel, and, cruelty isn't just the point, it's the strategy in this. But I'm going to just give you some straight up facts about my visit, and people can make their own determination, right? I walk in, and I'm greeted by nothing but private security, right? Now, this is a facility that they're saying is going to cost about $450 million. It's probably going to be a lot more. It's being run by the Florida Division of Emergency Management. These are the people that, help us with when we have hurricanes, help us prepare, help us respond. They're using pretty much all the money, which is they can use up to $500 million without going to the legislature if there's a state of emergency. That whole thing is meant to be there if there's a hurricane so they can work quickly. That's all being used up now for this political stunt. And that's something everyone should recognize if you're a Floridian especially. So I walk in, we go in, we're checking out the conditions. And I'll tell you the worst part for me was when they opened that door to the tent that had all the cages in it. And people should know that these men are being held in cages. The cages hold 32 people per cage, and then there's 3 toilets in each cage, and it's one of those jail units where the spigot is connected to the toilet. Essentially, it's like a hybrid with washing your hands and drinking water from it, and it's hot in there. I mean, these guys were sweating when they opened that door. These guys were yelling at me, "Hey, call my family. Here's my phone number." Some guy yelled, "I'm an American citizen." We're looking into that, right? I mean, when you do this stuff in the brazen way they're doing it, sometimes citizens get swept up into the whole mess. So we're looking into that as well. But the conditions are not good. They're abhorrent for a place that humans are being held in. And the thing people also have to realize is when you're an immigrant being held in detention, it doesn't mean you've been convicted of a crime, right? They're holding you in detention as you go through a legal process. And so it's not supposed to be a jail or a prison. It's supposed to just be a detention center. So these are very bad conditions. It's very hot out there. These are a bunch of tents in the middle of the Everglades. And the last thing I'll say on this too is they were going to build a full airport on this location years ago. Then they abandoned the idea. Why? Because the conditions are so poor out there in terms of weather that they couldn't build an airport there. And now they want to house up to 4,000 people there. So I think it's completely ridiculous.
What is your response to the DHS written statement on X Tuesday quote, ICE has higher detention standards than most U.S. prisons that hold actual U.S. citizens. All detainees are provided with proper meals, medical treatment, and have opportunities to communicate with lawyers and their family members.
The last part is not true. And I know this because I have many constituents in there and I speak with the lawyers. My team checks in with the lawyers on a daily basis. In fact, we've been given 3 to 4 emails for the lawyers to hit up so they can schedule in-person visits with their client. And so that's just not true. You can talk to any lawyer in Florida doing this work, and they're very frustrated. They haven't been able to really connect with the person that they're representing. The other thing I'll tell you is, look, I mean, before Congress, I was a community activist. I've been arrested. I went to jail. And I'll tell you, the jail I went to, 2 people, 1 cell, 1 bathroom in the cell. Okay. These are 32 men with only 3 toilets in a cage in the hot Florida sun. Right. And what I'll tell you is this. They keep saying, well, no, it's a good operation. I'm not debating the operation. It's run by the Florida Division of Emergency Management. We have one of the best emergency management divisions in the nation. The operation is great, but at the end of the day, a cage is a cage, right? The conditions are the condition. And so I'm not here to debate whether it's not being run well. I don't want an internment camp, even if it's run well, right? And so that's my opinion on it. And I think everyone, no matter what your politics are, you should be frustrated that they're using the department that helps us during hurricane season. And we're supposed to, and I'm knocking on wood, but we're supposed to have a tough hurricane season like we've had the last 5. And so, you know, in these times when you have these storms, every minute matters. And the fact that they're going to have to go back to the legislature and ask for more money if there's a hurricane just shows the priorities are out of whack. And it's a stunt, but it's a stunt with real human consequence. I mean, I got to tell you from a human perspective, looking at those cages, I mean, I saw myself in there, right? Like I saw people who looked exactly like me. I'm Afro-Cuban. I'm the first Afro-Cuban in Congress. Like I was looking at myself in those cages. And as I walked out of the facility, I told myself, I'm going to be one of the only people that looks like me that can walk in this place and walk out on my own accord. And I just gotta tell you, as a human, like my heart sunk. And not everyone in here isn't a violent criminal. We saw what the Miami Herald posted all the data. You got 250 people in there who've never done a crime, who've never been charged with a crime. And then you got a bunch of people in there. The crime is like, you know, they got pulled over for a speeding ticket or something. Come on.
How long was your tour? Were you denied access to any requested areas?
The tour was about 2 hours. Yes, I was denied access to a couple areas. And so people know it is in the law, it's in federal law, right? That members of Congress have to be let into detention facilities and we have to be able to conduct our oversight. And as part of our job is to go in and make sure things are being run correctly, that conditions are good, all of this. So we had a 2-hour tour, but there were 2 things I couldn't see that are really important when you do these tours. One was the medical unit. That's one of the most important things. We need to be able to go in there, speak directly with doctors, understand. You know, I had a lot of questions about mental health. If someone has a mental health crisis, what happens? Do they have a segregation unit or are they put with everybody else? Nobody could answer these questions for me, and they wouldn't even let me in the medical unit. They said HIPAA. They said, we can't let you in because of HIPAA. That's bull. I've been in many facilities before where they've let me in the medical unit. Now, I can't sit down in an appointment and listen in, but I can walk through the unit and ensure that things are up to par. So they didn't let me into the medical unit. They also didn't let me, I could see the cages from the door, but they didn't let me walk in. And the reason I wanted to walk in is because one of the top complaints we're getting are the toilets. We have a bunch of guys who have called their lawyers and called their family late at night on the phone and said, hey, I just want to let you know that 2 of the 3 toilets aren't working right now. And one of them is backing up. And there's like, you know, stuff is being sprayed or, you know, coming out of the toilet essentially. And reportedly it was hours till it was cleaned up. So I wanted to see the toilets as they were, but they said, oh, we can't let you in there. They'll throw poop at you is what they said. So, you know, just all these excuses for not letting us go in and check things out. One point I want to bring up that I didn't see a lot of law enforcement in this facility. What I mean to say is I saw almost nothing but private security, which means part of the reason the price tag is so high is we're essentially paying for a ton of rent-a-cops to run the facility. This is supposed to be a federal detention facility. And so people should be concerned about that. People are making big money from this thing as well. When I came in on the airstrip, 2 private jets for the companies, for the contractors that are there. They had 2 private jets on there, probably hire, the CEO or a higher executive being there. So it's just like everything else, another instance of like our tax money being siphoned off to big corporations to make this stunt possible.
The president toured the facility, and I guess with everything going on in the nation, there are a lot of misconceptions that this is a federal facility. However, just hours after, the administration kind of distanced itself from Alligator Alcatraz after the photo ops and put it all on the state. So here, on the state level, what can Floridians do about this to voice their anger? We've seen plenty of protests. Is there any additional pressure that we could apply to local and state leaders?
Yeah, the whole hot potato with the state federal thing is insane. And the reason they're doing it, number one, there's a lawsuit happening right now. A bunch of the environmentalist groups are suing the state. And you know what the state said? They said the federal government has no involvement in this. Why? Because it hurts the lawsuit, and that lawsuit could shut this thing down. I went in there, and you know what Kevin Guthrie told me, who's running the whole damn thing? He said ICE is calling all the shots. So he's telling me directly that the federal government's calling the shots. I'm gonna hit the floor this week to put this on the record. I'm also gonna release an op-ed talking about this as well, and do as much as I can to get out these specific quotes, and hopefully it'll help not just the lawsuit, but everything going on. But I would say, of course, the protests are always important, but honestly, people, especially if you're in Florida, get involved in one of these local immigrant justice groups. If you have some cash that you can donate to a pro bono legal organization that's doing immigrant law, they need resources. There's not enough resources to go around. And a lot of these immigrants, look, whatever your belief is in politics, you have to believe in due process for everybody. And we live in a country where the amount of money you have is directly correlated to whether or not you're going to get off or not, because you're able to afford an expensive attorney. These people can't afford attorneys, even expensive ones, right? And so if you can donate some money to some of the legal funds, and these are just lawyers working a pro bono way to represent a lot of these immigrants who, again, most of whom have not committed a crime, and most of whom who have been in this country for over a decade. Like, these are our neighbors, right? These are people living in our communities. We don't want to see them treated this way and snatched up by mass people. I mean, it's wild to me that this is even a debate. We live in the United States of America. Like, we don't want the state running around scooping people up in unmarked vans. I mean, I don't care what your political persuasion is. You got to be against that. Because even if you don't care about these folks, which you should, but even if you don't, I promise you, it's them today, it's you tomorrow. I mean, and I'm not being hyperbolic. We've seen U.S. citizens caught up in this whole mess.
You underscored the need for access for immigration attorneys. I know Laura Kelly from the Miami-Dade Democratic Party is an immigration attorney herself, volunteering a lot of time fighting this fight with the TPS expiration or executive order. Presently, what is access to immigration attorneys for people that are detained? Can they make phone calls? What is that process like for someone that's detained? Yeah. For someone who is screaming at you, hey, I'm a U.S. citizen.
Yeah. So the way it's supposed to work is these immigrant detention facilities are supposed to have what's called a law library. It sounds fancy. What it really is it's a phone in a place that's not being surveilled in terms of audio, so you can speak with your lawyer privately through the phone, right? And this facility, in the Everglades, did have a law library. But what we've heard is the detainees are not being allowed to use it. And so a lot of the lawyers are telling me, well, I'll randomly get a call from the person I'm representing, but it's at like 3 a.m. when they turn on the general phones for your phone call to call your family. And the way this works is those phones are supposed to be used to talk with your family. The law library phones are supposed to be used to talk with your lawyer, right? And so, but what we're finding is they're having to use those other phones to talk with the lawyers. The lawyers are having trouble getting in contact with the facility to set up in-person visits. But there is a process here because, again, deportation is a legal process. When someone is being detained, they're really supposed to only be detained if they're considered a risk to society, they've committed a violent crime. But they're detaining people who have done no crimes, who their crime is like a traffic stop, or maybe they had the wrong license plate and stuff like that. And that's part of why the cost tag is going up so much. But this whole thing is supposed to be a legal process, and that's why, and again, I'm not trying to be super hyperbolic. I'm just calling it like I see it. What we're seeing now isn't even deportation, because deportation can take a week to a year to battle out, right? It's a process. This is really, they're kidnapping people and then they're trafficking them to other nations. They don't even have to be from that nation. And so I'm just really concerned. I mean, I'm a Floridian. My mom came here as a refugee from Cuba. She'd be one of the people being scooped up had she come more recently, or if she wasn't a U.S. citizen. So it's very concerning.
He's representing the people of his hometown in Orlando in Central Florida, and he's joining us 2 days after filing a lawsuit against DeSantis for being unlawfully denied entry to inspect conditions of the migrant detention facility that is now being known as Alligator Alcatraz. Last notes, and you said your mother is Cuban-American. The most appalling of the things that you're feeling are not what this country has ever supposedly been about, are blank.
Say it again for me.
The most appalling, un-American sort of, how are we even talking about this? How are we even discussing an argument about internment camps and treating human beings this way randomly? Like, how is this a conversation in 2025?
Could be that part.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's that part. I don't like, and I think about, this is so politicized, it's so partisan, in the national sense. But I'm telling you, like, on the ground, I go and speak with people, and I speak with people who they say they're conservative, they're progressive, all around. People are starting to wake up to the fact that this isn't right. And that's why Trump's numbers on immigration have tanked, right? I mean, this was a big issue for him in the election. And so people don't like this cruelty at this level. And I mean, my mom, she talks about, like, this is the stuff I saw in Cuba. Sorry, that's my voting alarm going off. We can't turn it off or down.
People love to vote.
Yeah, people love to vote. But this is the stuff that she fled, right? And now it's here. And I hear this from so many people. My friend Manuel Oliver, his family lived in Venezuela. They left Venezuela to keep their son safe. They came to Florida. They went online and looked up the safest community they could live in to keep their son safe. And it said Parkland, Florida. They moved to Parkland, Florida, and he was murdered at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. His name is Joaquin Oliver. I hear these stories so much of people who have come to this country for the opportunity and greatness we have. And we are a great country. But there are things we have to fix. And if you love something, when there's a problem, you call it out and you do everything you can to fix it. Being patriotic is more than just like bald eagle flag and beer, right? It's about loving the people who live in this place. And they're treating our people in just inhumane ways at these internment camps. I can't even believe it's a debate, but I do think I think the pendulum is swinging. I think people are waking up to it.
From the very name Alligator Alcatraz to the terrible optics of crowded chain link fence jail cells, this is aggressively inhumane. Do you believe why is it intentionally inhumane? Why are they doing it in this way?
Yeah, the reason why is it's not just the point, right? It's the strategy. And this isn't even just for this facility, but it's for a lot of these ICE detention facilities. I visited one called Baker, and the conditions were horrible. At the time, I wrote to President Biden and I told him, you need to close this place down. The conditions are horrible. But what they do is the conditions are so bad that these immigrants who are fighting a legal process that can take like a year, they get to the point where they go, I can't be here another month. I'm going to sign the deportation paper. I'm done fighting it. Send me wherever. And it's to demoralize them. I spoke with 2 Haitian men a year and a half ago in Baker, and they told me, Congressman, I've been fighting this for 9 months. Tomorrow I'm signing the paper because I rather fight for my life and live on the streets of Haiti than be in this facility another month. And that's a big part of it. It's just such horrible conditions. I mean, you're literally in prison, and depending where you're at, if not worse. And at the same time, you're in this grueling legal battle, and the whole purpose is for you to go, screw it, send me wherever. And it's just it's horrible and it's sad. And also one thing, the lawsuit is the state legislators that went a couple weeks ago, they were denied entry. And my good friend Rep. Anna Escamani and Carlos Guillermo Smith, Chevron Jones, there's Michelle Rayner. Those are the ones involved in that. I'm not on that lawsuit because I wasn't there. But my visit was this past week, and we were able to get in. But I am gonna do an unannounced visit soon because what I saw was bad, man. But they had 3 days notice, right? Like, and when they have notice, they will make things cleaner. I mean, I heard from a family that spoke with someone that's there that magically the day before we got there, he got his first shower. Oh, and the day before we got there, he got like one of the first good meals. And so I'm going to be coming back unannounced. And that's really the only way to do these visits because you see things for how they are. And it's in the law. I can show up at a time and place of my choosing, and I will do that.
Join us after that, please. Thank you for the work that you're doing. And the cruel is not the accident. The cruel is the point. Thank you, Congressman. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Back with Ron Magill after this. Stugotz made me laugh as soon as the microphones went off because he just snorted toward Greg Cody. You were right, Cody. There were a lot of laughs in that one. That was a fun segment with Congressman Max Frost. And then the next thing that he says to Greg Cody, and he said it with sort of delight, the same sort of delight that he once said, "Hey, Mike, Marty Schottenheimer died." He says to Greg Cody, "Hey, Greg, a 114-year-old marathoner just died." And then there's this silence, and he's like, "Hit by a car." And then Greg Cody goes, "I saw that." And then they started talking excitedly about the great misfortune of staying healthy for 114 years, healthy enough to jog, and then getting hit by a car.
He's the world's oldest marathon runner. He's 114. Fauja Singh, the turban torpedo. I mean, this guy deserves a better fate. He was just out for a little stroll, a little jog, Dan. That's what he's done the last 100 years of his life.
I legitimately can't believe that there's such a thing as a 114-year-old jogger.
It was a hit and run, and I suspect that his 112-year-old rival is probably the guy who hit him and ran.
Let's play the sound that we got from ESPN of Stugotz excitedly telling Mike that Marty Schottenheimer had died.
Mike, Marty Schottenheimer passed away.
Just sort of bored,
what happened there.
Just sort of bored and belching. Ron, you've waited long enough. Thank you for waiting so long here. Apologies for keeping you waiting so long. We talked last week about the majesty of the Everglades, but coming off of the segment that you just had to endure there, the end of which, people can't live in the Everglades. Like, that's not a place where human beings can live reasonably, is it?
It's a place they can live if that's been their home for many years. Like, the Miccosukee, the Seminoles, that is their home. They've lived off that land. They've proven you can. But when you haven't been used to it, no, absolutely not. You won't survive. So, listen, that was a great segment. I got a lot of respect for that congressman. A lot of respect. One of the few politicians I've enjoyed listening to.
It is a little hotter now, but you're in luck. The state's attorney general just made a sweeping order yesterday that we can no longer genetically modify the weather. We can't do that anymore. This is true. You could look this up. The state attorney general sent a memo to all the airports. Hey, stop manipulating the weather. So that's going to be great news for you and your hurricane prep.
He was sending that memo to me and Stugotz, right?
Unbelievable.
Ron, let's play some videos here for Ron Magill. And Greg Cody's had a question for 2 weeks. So before, because we went on.
What the hell? First of all, I haven't seen Cody in a couple of weeks. What is that on his lip?
I'm trying to grow a Ron McGill-styled mustache, but right now it needs to fill in a little bit.
A little bit? You look like Pepe Le Pew. What is that?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Greg Cody has had a question, though, for 2 weeks. And last week he was lamenting, hey, you kept going to those videos, and I had something to ask. And so he's been sitting on this for a couple of weeks. And let's do it. Let's do it before the videos this week so I don't get reprimanded.
Okay, this is a very quick question, Ron. And this is actually something that I heard on the Greg Cody Show podcast presented as a fact, and one of my favorite podcasts, by the way. And here's the fact. You tell me if it's true.
Jack.
A full-grown giraffe has a heart that is 2 feet long and weighs 25 pounds more than a car tire.
25 pounds more than a car tire? A tire without a rim, just a tire,
Yes.
no air?
Yeah.
No rim.
Yeah, it probably could. Absolutely. It's a lot of water weight in there, too. Keep in mind.
Okay.
Greg, we're all in agreement. This is a good look for you.
Yeah,
Wow.
you got what
Oh,
the
it
kids
looks
say
great.
is
You
look great.
aura.
Mhm.
I think this should be a part of your aesthetic going forward.
You look
Look like a film director.
far more distinguished, more creative. Nobody would guess that your feet look the way they do.
Yeah.
You look
thanks for
comfortable
that.
in your own skin. This is the look of someone like I know what I put out there. This is a hard lean in from one Greg Cody.
Okay. Will my wife buy all of this
Oh,
adulation?
jeez. Come on. Take that off the screen, please, guys.
Yeah,
His feet for
seriously.
the audio.
There are the devil's feet
yes.
Those
right
aren't
there.
even human feet.
Let's play some videos here now. Ron Magill has told us before that he doesn't know that much about the insects, but he has told us that the bee is interesting. Can you explain to me what's happening in this video where we've got a queen is mating, but then there's a praying situation?
Well, yeah, that's obviously a spider is going in on whatever is mating. I don't know if that's necessarily I'm assuming it's a queen, I guess. I don't know. Queens aren't usually out on their own like that, unless it's a different type of bee. That looks like a bumblebee type of insect.
Okay, but
there,
what's the spider doing? The spider is attacking during sex?
Yeah, sure. That's a good vulnerable time to get them.
Are we sure this isn't birth? Not that I would know.
Oh,
but-
it's
Pretty
not
sure.
birth.
Look
It's
how
not
big
birth.
that thing is.
It's
There's
not
no way it
birth.
was inside the other insect.
It's
Well,
not.
it
It's
was,
not.
but
It's
not
not birth, guys. It's not birth. And the spider, yeah, is probably capitalizing on a vulnerable position, so to speak, because that bee that's being predated on there probably didn't have anything on its mind except for one thing, and was quite vulnerable because it wasn't paying attention to its surroundings.
Something I see a great deal in South Florida. Weirdly, I saw it a lot on 441 past those old radio stations where we used to work at. The bird flight coordination. Can you explain to me the where and why this happens, the way that it happens, and what is happening here with what is called, I guess it's murmuration? What is murmuration?
Birds synchronize their flight as part of a defense mechanism. It's the same thing you see it in fish, except it's in the air. If you watch a school of fish, watch a shark go in there or a sea lion go into a big school of fish, basically they form this confusing dance, so to speak, which basically blends them all in with each other so the predator cannot focus on one animal. It's the same thing in a lesser scale of like when a lion is going after a herd of zebra. All the zebra run together and all the stripes blend together. It confuses the predator, and it's harder for that predator to concentrate on a single animal. More often than not, it doesn't work out for the zebra, but the safety is in numbers here with these animals. And they know if they stay synchronized like that, again, it's very difficult to pick one out against the other to be predated on.
I can't believe there's not one bird in this mix that like missed rehearsal.
Right.
And it's like flapping around.
How do
and
they
you're
do
like,
this?
This
I
bird
mean-
doesn't know what everyone else is doing.
Right.
It's an instinct that is a split-second reaction to the bird next to them, and it's something that they do for survival. Let me tell you something, guys. If it meant life or death for you, you'd be surprised what you could master.
Ron, I might have a problem in my home. A few months ago, I noticed an owl living in my fishtail ponds. I didn't know if he was just visiting, but then 2 weeks ago, I saw a rodent that was on the ground, and I don't have rats in my home. It looked like this was predation. And this morning, when I was taking my dog out, I saw this very big bird fly away from my fishtail palms. If I were ever to consider maybe getting a puppy, is this a hazard I should consider? Because I've got this owl now in my fishtail palms.
No. An owl, generally speaking, unless you're going to get a puppy like Chihuahua, I wouldn't put a little puppy Chihuahua out there, but a general puppy of, that's already a good, I wouldn't put a puppy out in the yard by itself unless it's at least 3 months old to begin with. And any puppy of any reasonable size is not going to be predated by any owl. The only owl in Florida that would even consider predating on an animal that size would be a great horned owl. I doubt that's what you have in your yard. You probably have, I don't know.
Your standard owl?
Now, little screech owls, you might have a barred owl, but these animals, generally speaking, the great horned owl is the king of owls here in Florida as far as going after larger prey. I doubt you have that in your yard. I don't know exactly where you live, Mike, but not likely.
Well, Big Boy,
most puppies are not going to be a threat.
Well, Hungry Bear. Big Boy told us the funny story of a teacup Maltese named Halle Berry that he let out of the house and then watched a bird of prey take it away. Carrie Champion asked him about this without knowing that Halle Berry had perished.
So let's talk about bad or bougie. Some of my producers told me to explain this to the audience. So how would you, shout out to Migos, how would you explain bad and bougie?
I guess, having an attitude and a certain confidence about yourself where you just don't just deal with anybody. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you got to be a super raw dog and so fresh, so clean at all times.
You got a dog named Halle Berry. Is she bad or is she bougie?
She's dead.
No!
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is awful.
I know,
my producer
she's
didn't know that. I feel awful. I'm sorry.
She's dead.
And not just dead, in the most horrific manner, where you have a pet and then a bird of prey comes from the wild and just takes it away.
Again, what is that? Some teacup thing you said?
Yes.
It's like I said, a baby chihuahua.
It could happen to Jumpin' Charlie. Let's play another video here for Ron Magill. Is the panda clumsy? Is there such a thing as a clumsy animal? Not just an individual, but a breed, a species of animals more likely to be clumsy than the average clumsy?
Bears aren't the most agile animals in the world. And pandas, of course, sometimes underestimate their weight when they climb and they fall and things like this. So they've been known to fall quite a bit. Animals are adapted to their environment, but sometimes their environment is not as much adapted to them. And pandas often make the mistake of underestimating their weight and the props that they're hoping will sustain their weight.
I don't mean to be stubborn about this, but is there a clumsy animal? Like, would there be one? You would dismiss bears as clumsy.
No, I wouldn't dismiss bears as clumsy. I would dismiss, generally speaking, all young animals are clumsy, just like young people are. They tend to be clumsy. But animals adapt to their environment, and they could be clumsy in certain environments. If I were going to put a sea lion on the beach, it looks very clumsy as it's trying to move around on the beach. Put a sea lion in the water, and it's unbelievable. So depending on the environment it's in, animals are not, generally speaking, clumsy in the environment that they live in. That's a general term. They've adapted to survive that way. A clumsy animal usually will not survive in its environment in the wild.
Ron, it's good seeing you. Thank you for making the time for us, as always, sir.
Always a pleasure, guys. Have a good week. Love the stash. Really love that stash, Cody.
Thank you, Ron.
Cody getting a lot of compliments on this ridiculous mustache. And given what I have done over the course of the last 45 minutes here with both topic choices and what we've done conversationally, I want right now to offer all of you guys a bit of a treat here, okay? A bit of a July treat, just to feed you guys the way that you would feed sea lions, little, baby fish. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Off-season NFL report cards.
Wow.
By Seth Walden.
Oh, boy.
He's only given 4 A's.
Really?
4 off-season A's. Do any of you want to choose?
That's an all-time low.
Keenan Allen's a free agent. Amari Cooper's a free agent. Do any of you want Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz is a free agent. Do any of you want Gabe Davis? Gabe Davis is a free agent. Anybody interested in
I want to guess the A's.
That was Jeremy.
Go Knights.
Jeremy was very excited.
I was very excited to hop in there.
Weirdly excited on Gabe Davis. I would have thought Keenan Allen might have lured someone out with that kind of enthusiasm. Nope.
I'm also going to get bullied for the things I normally get bullied for the way I reacted to that.
It was Gabe Davis.
Yeah, it was strange to see you react that way. But are we now with Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen in the 1 year, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones stage of their career? Or are we already at the
Julio Jones for sure. Yes.
No, but I'm asking you.
Depends.
Keenan Allen, I think of as an immensely useful wide receiver in Chicago with the Chargers. I would want him on my team.
He was so good.
I don't think he's a guardable human being. And I'd want him on my football team as a number 1 wide receiver.
He's a ball winner, and he's not guardable in that because he's never really relied on his physical traits. He just is a lot like Anquan Bolden in that way. Anquan Bolden looked like he was this superior athlete, but he didn't have speed that would blow you away. He was a ball winner, crisp route runner. Keenan Allen's very good that way. Can I guess the A's?
I want to guess the A's. By the way, Keenan Allen is 2 years removed from a season in which he played 13 of the 17 games. He had 1,250 yards. I mean,
But Greg Cody is saying he doesn't regard Keenan Allen this way anymore. And there are no announcements on this stuff, okay? Like, so when I'm talking to you earlier this week.
Dan, there usually is. They usually sign with the Tennessee Titans. And then it's done.
That's the announcement.
Even the two that you just referenced, that they did that same thing. It's where Randy Moss did this. You go to the Titans as a wide receiver. Andre Johnson, you're dead. That's it.
But we're at that stage of the career on Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen because I didn't think we were.
Amari Cooper certainly fell off, and I thought that would be because he's a lot like Anquan Bolden, and Keenan Allen never really relied so much on his physical traits, was a ball winner, but he wasn't good for Buffalo. I kept thinking that he was going to have a moment for them. He wasn't. Ironically enough, I think they should take a look at Keenan Allen. Ooh, is Buffalo an A?
Buffalo is not one of the A's.
Really?
How about Chicago?
We will take the
Chicago
guesses
has to be
on
an A.
the A's.
Yeah.
You include the head coaching hire too, right?
Chicago has to be an A.
If Chicago is not
the
an
Bears
A,
weren't an
The
A?
Bears are not an A.
Who wrote this?
I told you already. Seth Walden.
Denver?
Tennessee is not an A.
They have Cam Ward. What are you talking about?
The Patriots.
The Patriots are not an A. Let me
What?
stop you guys for a second before this more wild outbreak of guessing breaks out. I just want to play for you the only interview we ever had with Amari Cooper. It got us in trouble at ESPN. We were happy to take it from ESPN. He had just graduated from Alabama. This was the entirety of the interview.
What do you imagine you'd be doing in the NFL right now?
Just dominating.
He was right.
That was the whole interview.
Yep.
Wow. Concise.
He
Good
did
job.
well.
Yes.
He had a good career.
Well spoken.
Yep.
We got in trouble for that, did we not? For
Why?
Kind of like Alabama had an issue with it.
The Bucks got an A.
Ooh.
The Bucks
did not.
Did not get an A.
Oh my God.
You may not have heard Broncos.
I did not hear you, but the Broncos did get an A.
Yeah.
Finally.
That is one. But, Billy, you memorized Seth Walden's list of report card A's because this is right in your alley, and I would imagine Dookie would have his own list of off-season A's.
Not for this week, no. That's we do that later on. You're putting it out this early. It's
Right.
just,
There's still time.
It's just fluff. Every team's not complete yet. There's still the free agents out there, And A's, A minus. Do we count an A minus as an A? I mean, some people
It
are
is.
asking.
I used to.
How many minuses were there? I didn't memorize it.
There was an A and 3 A minuses.
The Broncos
Yeah.
got the only A?
No, they got an A minus.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Who got the only A?
The only A? It's a great question. It went to the Rams.
Wow.
Wow.
Spoiler alert.
Interesting.
They did make
Yeah.
some moves this offseason where I'm like, I like that.
Good analysis, Chris. Excellent work. That's how you do it. That's how you play the game. You just raise a finger and are like, do I like that?
I like
A.
that.
I give it an A. That's how they all do it. That's how all the personnel evaluators do it. That's how everybody does it. I like that and then just point at it.
Whenever growing up, if I ever got a B plus, that was an A.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, B plus is an A.
Guys,
Did
It's the
you
same
ever
as an
get
A.
a B plus?
I think so. A couple.
the NFC West looks to be loaded. They've got 3 of their 4 teams in this division logging A minuses. This is pretty crazy.
Right. Wow, you're taking the Niners
The
seriously?
NFC, the Cardinals got A minus.
49ers, Cardinals, Rams all got A's.
But is it because they started from a bad place and now
Right.
they've improved?
I'm not sure. But we mentioned the Broncos, and the Broncos are a key cog in what has been happening across cable sports networks for the last couple of weeks, and I love it. It's very lazy because Patrick Mahomes is the cheat code. He's always going to be in the conversation. As long as he's at a high level, they're always going to be there. We want to eliminate the Chiefs from the conversation so badly because there appears to be Chiefs fatigue. Maybe Taylor Swift has something to do with that. But now the conversation is, are the Chiefs done dominating their own division?
Dominating.
And that is a conversation that I was like, man, this is so phony. Who's talking about that? And then I take a look at the Broncos. I take
Yeah.
a look at the Chargers. I'm
Take a look.
I'm like,
Yep.
Raiders, reason to be excited. And they got a new quarterback over there, Geno, scrappy. They're gonna be.
You went too far with the Raiders.
No. The Raiders.
I was with you for a second.
Have the Chargers retooled, though? Like, who do they have on offense?
May I remind you, the Raiders are always the team that somehow upsets the Chiefs and has us thinking, wow, they actually might be done this year. They do this.
They've done it.
Don't
Are the
remove
Raiders for
them.
real?
O'Connell.
Are the Raiders
Yeah.
for real?
They're always going to be hanging around that conversation, Dan. I like this division, and I think it's time to entertain. Are the Chiefs done dominating the AFC West?
That seems like a different
My
wrapping
man.
for
No, I
are
like
the
that.
Raiders for real?
Yeah, Bo Nix.
Okay, excellent.
That's true. That
Analysis.
is a quarterback.
Excellent.
NBT.
Yes.
NBT.
Look, the
Sean
Codys,
Payton.
have really brought the analysis this segment, and I believe this is us getting ready for football. They got some guys. Bo Nix.
NBT.
I like that move.
It can happen with rookie quarterbacks, but we had 2 examples in the NFL of starting quarterbacks that we thought we were sure about the limitations in their game. And Bo Nix and Bryce Young, towards the middle part of the season, they started adding to their games and totally made believers out of a lot of skeptics.
J.K. Dobbins.
21 out of the 32 teams are B- or better on Seth Walder's list.
Wow. Easy grader.
Who's a
That's
bad
a
one?
lot.
Who's
21
bad?
out of 30.
And the Dolphins, keep in mind, they did change their culture. That's got to count for something.
It's in the B range.
It's fixed.
Yeah. B-.
I think I made the mistake of calling him Seth Walden
You did 3
instead
times.
of Seth Walder. My profound apologies to
the Walders out there.
All
He'd
of
rather
the
be Walden.
all of the Seths for misrepresenting the only 4 A's given. That's a tough grader, and
but everyone else got a B basically.
Yeah, easy.
Right.
I enjoyed
Hand
those-
out a D. I mean,
That's what I'm. Only one. Only one on the list. No Fs. Take a guess who the D is.
no Fs. Jeez.
Wow.
The Jets.
No. The Saints.
Oh.
Yeah.
Greg Cody, you looked at your son and you said, "Did you get a B plus? Why is it that the Cody kids didn't care enough about their grades? Is it because their father wasn't stern enough?"
Could be. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, the wife and I have talked about that.
I had a good, solid, 3.0, a little below 3.0. I was fine in school.
Little
I was
2.8,
I was an honor roll student, but I did my thing.
But he just asked you. He just
I got
asked
plenty
you,
of B pluses. All right, that was the peak. That was I got a B plus in geometry.
Yeah, he got some B's. There's no doubt. He did okay until he got to college. What?
What happened there?
No, that's true. College took 9 years. Dan, I have a song here. Jeremy, yesterday we celebrated Mr. Met falling at a Lumineers concert. Jeremy got in the lab. You want to hear it?
Not particularly.
Slab Lab.
But
Change the subject.
he did try and change the subject because you just mouthed long story when he said college took 9 years.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and play it since I'm not going to get any
Yeah,
commentary
seriously.
from Greg Cody. He's
Right.
just going to pantomime and mouth things when I need his audio help to produce an audio
No,
product.
I'm doing that for
Oh,
laughs.
fuck off.
I've been trying to keep it light. I don't want to lose my wife. Cause all these other men are trying to sleep with Mrs. Med. Sleep with Mrs. Med. On the stage, she looks at me so dang impressively. Till I fall right off the side. Didn't know it's 6 feet wide. Now I'm screaming my life. Now the Lumineers are wiping all my tears with their suspenders. Now the Lumineers are wiping all my tears with their
Good job, Jeremy.
Least surprising thing in the world that Jeremy's a big Lumineers guy.
Yeah, I mean, come on, look at me.
I felt for Jeremy before the show, and I know he's told this story on air, but I don't think all of you have heard it. And it is charming, and it is endearingly innocent, and a bygone time for most of you when it comes to how it is you feel about your sports. But Jeremy came in here today with his spring in his step, and among the stories that he told was, again, saying that the first time he told his wife, "I love you," his now wife, "I love you," she thought he was speaking to LeBron James.
That's right. Yeah.
At the time, she was, yes, it was,
Heat Pacers. Heat Pacers, the last year that the Heat were making a run, ultimately lost in the finals, really devastating. Not great for our love life. But we had been dating a few months, and I was scrolling through Twitter after a big win, obviously in a great mood, and we're sitting in my dorm room, and my wife said something really funny that just sort of disarmed me, and I hadn't said I love you yet, but I knew I loved her, and I just, because I was so caught up in the moment, looking at my phone and LeBron and all these things, and I had just been talking about it, she literally responded, "Are you talking about me or LeBron?"
Beautiful.
The answer was her. Wow. And it's 12 years later, and we're happily married.
How about that? Congrats.
How'd she respond? I mean,
I love you too.
Really?
And surprisingly, given the circumstances.
Well, at that point, you got to say it, right? You got to say it back.
You do kind of just gotta.
There's pressure. Yeah.
Well, it could have been a moment to go,
Right.
you know what? It's only been a few months. Let me cut loose.
I think you just say it, and then you think about how am I going to get out of this.
Stugotz, do you have any stories from Tahoe that are worth retelling? I enjoyed your coverage on Stupidity. People could check out everything that Stugotz did last week in Tahoe. Was there anything left unsaid or uncovered from your week out there? It looked like a lot of fun.
We had a blast out there. Aaron Rodgers, Dan, and I am basing this just off of me watching him on a driving range, and it was Aaron Rodgers. It was not Jake Owen.
You sure?
I am positive, yes, although they're still making fun of me in Tahoe for that. I am convinced seeing Aaron Rodgers on the driving range for about 25 to 30 minutes that the Steelers are going to win a Super Bowl. I mean, I am serious. This guy is in such good shape. He is taking this season so seriously.
I feel like this is the exact same setup for last year when it was Jake Owen.
The same.
The last couple of years, I'm telling you, he's out in Tahoe. He's partying. This was a business trip. This was, hey, there's a golf tournament to play. I'm going to play in it. I'm going to play well, and then I have to get off to training camp.
So you have him playing well in the golf tournament as being focused for football.
I have him not drinking as many beers this year as he did the last couple of years and being in much better shape this year than he was the last couple of years, and just seeing him move around. A second year, okay? Now he's 2 years removed from tearing his Achilles. And so I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a monster season. I think in an AFC where the Chiefs are going to be down, to Mike's point, I think the Steelers have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
This implies that at one point you saw him indulging.
Never saw him
in Tahoe.
I never saw him do that.
Why would you do that? And
he didn't look as good. That's all I'm saying.
No, physically,
I don't know
he's
if
always looked bigger than
I don't know
you'd
if that's
think.
because he was the Jets quarterback and just I walked in there and he didn't look as good. But, now as the Steelers quarterback, he looks fantastic.
He didn't look good.
And
because,
man, can he drive a ball?
Yeah, but he didn't look good because you were talking to Jake Owen.
That's a good point. Yeah,
He looked thin.
he looked battered.
Battered by merely country music, as opposed to battered by
Jake Owen
football.
He looks fantastic.
I
He's got
need,
game, Jake Owen.
I
man.
need
In more
to
ways than one.
Stop all of you here because
Aaron looks good, Dan. That's all I'm saying. All right, healthy and good and motivated.
I just have to stop all of us because DraftKings has invested in this thing as it approaches football. And the analysis is Chris Cody raising a finger saying Denver got some guys, his father saying Bo Nix, and then you saying Aaron Rodgers is going to win the Super Bowl. I saw him golfing.
Yeah.
Let me add to that.
Look good.
Ladd McConkey's got a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, a legit shot
Agreed.
to be the GOAT wide receiver.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a shot. People don't know this. You know what Ladd
McConkey?
Okay.
You know what Ladd McConkey?
What?
He needs a nickname in a real bad way. Just like Cooper Flag. Wait,
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, stumbling.
slightly delayed. You know what he ran at the combine? Because people think that he'll find the gaps in the zone because he's a white wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Ran a 4.39.
Wow.
Call him the fancy lad.
You have to get out of here just because that was an unfortunate place to make that mistake. Understandable.
Happens.
Yeah, it does. It happens. You just have to go. You have to eat it.
McConkey.
Yeah, I'm
Could have been
sorry.
worse.
It's not really a lot of ways it could have been worse, but there
Could
are
have
a
been
few.
some body parts.
Yeah, there could have been not a lot of ways that it would have been worse. So that's something that you have to be careful with. Billy, I know you talked about this Friday, but I have some follow-up questions because I was delighted to hear, and I don't know, there are details missing for me that I want to gather from you. But the decision at 11 a.m. on a weekday to stroll into a weekday matinee movie theater felt to me like a decision one makes when the bathroom is no longer good enough to hide it from the kids with your iPad. That you needed 90 minutes to yourself, but I didn't know who you went with or what the details were. I just assumed if you're going to a movie publicly at 11 a.m. that you would be doing so by yourself.
No, I went with my wife. A little date. Yeah, check out Mission Impossible.
A date?
Yeah.
11 a.m.
I don't make the movie times.
But
was
the
the movie
theater
over at
Sad time
4?
for a theater.
Was
for
the
sure.
theater empty? There was
Yeah, we were the only two there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
He revealed something else they did, but we won't
Baby.
repeat that.
Well, they had the theater to themselves.
Watch the movie.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah. It's a good one. Have you seen it yet?
I have not.
You should go. I recommend seeing it in the day no one's there. Especially 8 weeks after it's come out.
Would you have Mike Ryan's great endorsement of it being the greatest of all of the action franchises ever made?
No, come on. Fast franchise. Stupid questions.
Okay.
Dad, have you ever found yourself on a date in an empty theater?
Never been in an empty theater.
Really?
Nope,
Why not?
once. Why not? I mean, because other patrons are there.
Can't control it.
It's a
I
great
mean,
answer.
you can't. Right.
It's a great answer. A great answer by Greg Cody and an accurate answer. Why was the theater not empty? Well, because there were people there.
Yeah.
Would you not want to see one alone? I remember this isn't the first time it's happened to me. One time I saw The Adventures of Pluto Nash. That theater was empty. But that was like the second week that it came out. But that was just a very historically bad movie.
An empty theater is fine. I hate it when there's like one other duo. And it's just like, I'm up here and then like another. It happened to me and my daughter and another father and a little kid at the, what's the Jack Black movie? The chicken, lava.
Minecraft?
It was Minecraft. And it was it's just like awkward. It's just like, what?
How did Dan know that?
It was a popular movie. It was popular. But yeah, it was just
amazing.
I don't like when there's one other group in there because then you're the whole time you're like, are they here? Are they laughing? I don't know. Either filled or completely empty, not one other duo.
Greg, you might find this. It was instinct for me. I hadn't been to a movie theater in 4 years. It was the first time I went. Post COVID, I went one time for Adnan's movie podcast, Cinephile, which now is a book, by the way, that you can get. So I went on one time because I was reviewing a movie for Adnan. I thought we were all going to watch the movie and review it. It turns out I was tasked with going to watch this movie on behalf of Chris, Cody, and Adnan because they did not watch the movie, and I came on and told them about the movie. So I was confused as a concept.
Was it Fast and the Furious? I forget.
It was. It was the last Fast and Furious movie. Nevertheless, when I went to this movie and it was just me and my wife, just out of instinct, because again I haven't been to the movie theaters in a long time, she started talking to me in the middle of the movie and I was shh.
Yeah.
And she was like, "There's no one else here," and I was like,
"But there's a movie on."
Etiquette.
Right.
Yeah.
Movie
Like
etiquette.
You still got to whisper.
Yeah.
I need complete silence in a theater. That's why I stopped going to movies.
Is that
'Cause I don't like any. Everybody gets mad at somebody
Pull back.
shouting what's
Keep
about
going.
to happen or laughing too loud. I don't like any sound. Okay, even if there's something hilarious said, I want a low murmuring laugh. I just don't like loud noises at all. And if I'm in the fourth
You
row,
don't think a comedy experience with other people who are finding it just as funny or you is a better shared experience and sort of the point?
Yeah, but the next line is right around the
Yes.
corner. I mean, everyone's
Right.
laughing, and you miss the next line.
Yeah, and there's no replays in a theater. If you miss a line, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
I do like the constructs of a movie theater that kind of force me to keep my phone in my pocket. I won't.
Nicole Kidman telling you beforehand to do so.
Like this is right. I've
works,
committed to watch this movie start to finish, and if I'm in my living room, I don't care how good the movie is, I'm gonna check the phone occasionally. So I do like that. I kind of force the issue with movie theater.
That is Goosebumps, Nicole Kidman.
It is. I dig it.
I liked Tom Cruise coming on before telling me, "Thank you for coming to the movies and
nice
experiencing it the way that we intended it to be." I was like, "Whoa, Tom!"
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
Did he just say
thank
Billy?
you.
He said that. How weird. How did he know I was
What
here?
a nice touch.
Yeah.
There is something remarkably quaint about the idea of Scorsese or old action stars like Tom Cruise coming from on their perch of what used to be movies and what movies used to mean to thank you for keeping film alive as opposed to those dirty streamers that are just allowing it to be on a small screen in your bedroom comforts away from the noise and people as you get more and more disconnected, convenient, and lonely.
Wait, Scorsese does that too?
Scorsese has
I don't like
opined
that.
about film being more important than just streaming.
See, that's different. That's
Right.
that's
It's the same
come on.
thing.
Just thank me.
Yeah,
That's
just,
it. Right.
exactly.
Right.
Tom nails it.
Yeah.
Does he mean it? Absolutely not. But he says it. Scorsese coming out and saying, "My films are art. They're better than streaming." Shut up, buddy.
Enough.
Thank you for spending $75 on 2 drinks, a popcorn, and candy.
Oh, we had a gift card. I was shocked that it wasn't expired. Movie gift cards, we get those still. Like as a couple's gift, they still give you that. Like, oh, here for a date night. It's
Who's
like,
they?
we're
Like people
married.
in your life?
Yeah.
I actually found concession stand prices to be reasonable now by comparison. Because before, they were always super inflated, but I guess inflation has kind of caught up to movie theater concession prices, so it's not that shocking anymore. But I think one of the things that people are going to gravitate to, and it seems to be the case already with the superhero movie, is we're back in a moment in time where people need Ted Lassos of the world. And one of the things that Superman apparently does is, wow, the central characters got so much empathy. This is such a positive message, and people wanted to go to the movies to feel good, and people seem to be responding to that. So maybe we're going to start seeing more positive movies like that.
Just need less options at the concession stand. I don't need a corn nuggets combo. Yeah. You know, I don't need. Yeah, corn. They do have the one.
You don't
I was
have to
at.
order
They have corn
it.
dogs,
I mean,
and they had the little corn nuggets.
The corn dog nugget.
They have a pickle. They're selling a pickle at the movie
I
theater.
like that.
Yeah,
Too much.
How much? Yeah, that's interesting.
AMC.
Pickles smell.
Yeah, you're right.
Good point.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do pickles smell? The last time the Dolphins won a playoff game, movie tickets were $5. It was $5 for a movie ticket. Do you guys think? Are you guys of the belief that at some point, somewhere, a studio executive is watching streaming services, and streaming services allow you to rent a movie that's in the theaters for $19.99 or $24 to buy the movie outright? And do you think that studio executives, old-timey studio executives, saw that, did quick math, and said, oh my God, people are going to realize and do the math that they don't have to go to the theater. They can just give me the $20 now and watch the movie, and that's going to destroy movies unless Tom Cruise comes and rescues them with Maverick, Top Gun, Mission Impossible, and thanking you for coming to the movie.
Yeah. I have a hard time saying I'm going to spend $19 to rent a movie, even though I'm going to spend $100 to go see it in theaters.
Right. It feels better when you're spending it at the theater.
Yeah,
Yes,
at home
right,
to
yes.
sit down and
Right.
have you kind of like
doubt.
shake me down for $20 to watch a movie. It ain't happening, bub. I'll wait 3 weeks and it's going to be free somewhere.
Who's Bub?
Person who's not shaking me down.
Yeah.
I'll say that
Holly.
right now.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Tell me I only have 48 hours to watch a movie. Enough.
I wanted to get what you guys thought about Brad Stevens' allergy to the word that the Celtics are quote-unquote rebuilding. He does not want it seen as rebuilding. He does not think it's rebuilding. How can it be anything other than rebuilding? What would it be other than rebuilding?
Retooling.
Waiting.
Whale hunting.
Starting over.
No, they're not starting over.
They're not starting
they
over.
Have their two core guys.
Right. They're waiting for one to get healthy.
They've won a championship with those two core guys.
Right.
They'll be all right. Yeah. And they got Derek White, who's awesome.
Okay, but they'll be all right. And a voice. We were talking about Brad Stevens as architect. We can acknowledge now, given that he's won a championship, would we agree that Brad Stevens, one of the hotshot young coaches ever to be, is a better executive than he was as a coach? Yes or no?
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, he won it. Dan, I think I remember you saying something several years ago that if Pat Riley was ever to retire, and this was years ago, that Brad Stevens was a name on the Arison family radar as someone that they really valued.
Yes.
Dating back to the Butler days.
Yes, and everyone did and does, but he's objecting. In that town, right? When you win in that town, it's a different thing. You've seen that the Boston sports ecosystem can feed a whole lot of things because the passion in that town for winning things is outsized. Boston cares about sports in a way that is regionally identity larger than most places. I don't know how you would measure these things. What do you think if we did polling across the country and said square foot sports passion, where will you find most of it historically passed down? Boston's going to be at the top of all of those charts.
Yeah, Boston, Philadelphia, New York, certainly.
So in the history of that city, there's been Theo Epstein as architect, one of the great architects ever, and there's been Brad Stevens, who came after Danny Ainge and Doc Rivers and a whole lot of people who weren't as smart as he was about, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do an actual hard thing in Boston. I'm going to take away heart and soul of a team. Marcus Smart, popular, green hair, and I'm going to give my young guys a chance by getting Drew Holiday, Porzingis, and everyone salutes me as I figured out how to build a thing and make it better than everyone else's. And now it needs to be rebuilt, at least in part, because the star player is hurt.
Retool.
They need to hit pause is what they need to do, because it doesn't matter if those guys are there next year or not. They're not going to win it without Jason Tatum, and I think he knows that. And so you get rid of Porzingis, get rid of Drew Holiday, and you wait patiently until Tatum gets healthy, and you go at it again in a couple of years.
Epstein
right?
is about as strong a hand as you can go up to
yes.
opposition.
No doubt.
But it's Bill Belichick in terms of architect. right? Like,
forgive me, I was
Stevens
doing Hot Young Thing more than, yes, you're right, of course, but I was doing, in that town, Theo Epstein was in his early 30s when he was alleged to know other things that most people don't. He's done that in 2 places. Like, there will be very few resumes like that ever. Chicago and Boston that didn't have any kind of winning. He won there.
I mean, I have seen the president even associate Hot Young Thing with Epstein before.
Did you just zip up your mustache?
Yes.
Old school move.
He did. Yeah.
Did you
throw away like the key?
Did you just?
He did throw away a key. I confirm it.
Zip up
What are you, a
your
House Republican?
mustache. I missed our dead fish in here in the heated summer of South Florida with no air conditioning.
Need fans in here.
Yeah.
I didn't think that the Epstein list was the thing that was going to break everything.
Right? Yeah, of all the things. Pretty shocking.
I did not think that would be the lie that would make all the other lies appear like lies. And I don't know how to segue as clumsily from that as I am into Stephen A. Smith somehow saying that he doesn't care about Epstein when we're talking about what seems like a cover-up of the most horrific of child crimes.
That kind of sucks, right? Stephen A? His opinions constantly siding with power and money over empathy or human decency just so he can get a bag?
I was surprised. That one I was surprised by. Not caring about Epstein was surprising.
They got Simons.
Yeah, it was a nice little move.
Portland?
The Broncos got the only A?
In the AFC West. Yeah, only 8. That's the highest grade. Yeah. Why didn't the Bears?
A minus.
No way
Why
pluses.
Why didn't the Bears?
They were in the B's, but so was everyone else.
They addressed the offensive line. They brought in the coach everybody wanted.
Yeah.
You'll have to take it up with Seth Walden.
Walder. Also, just a quick correction. David Samson said there are no walls in Major League Baseball that are 5 feet tall.
Yep.
Fenway Park is a 3-foot tall wall, very famously.
Yep. And the wall in question was 6 feet.
Mm-hmm. It's a wall he could climb.
Stugotz has been wanting to get that joke off at David Samson's expense. Do you know how infrequently
The wall at eyes.
Stugotz gets to make short jokes at someone else's expense?
He's the only person shorter than me.
It is a 3-foot wall in Boston that we had forgotten about. There was the other day a 301-foot home run hit in Major League Baseball, which is more of a crime against baseball than what Greg Cody's been lamenting this week.
I love how much time we spent on the Devers trade, and the Red Sox have won 10 straight.
Love it.
Oh, since I visited the Oval Office.
Walder handed out 7 B pluses.
Wow.
Make up your mind, Walder.
Could have found some A minuses in there.
Right. An A plus somewhere. Huh?
What do you mean, make up your mind, Walder?
I mean, when you give too many B pluses, it's like you're pulling them out of a hat.
If you have 7, do you really have any?
Yeah, exactly.
Mix it up.
You know, give me an A minus, give me a D plus.
Awarding
A
mediocrity.
D minus. I like a D minus. That's my favorite grade.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have the balls to give an F.
Ravens, B plus.
I think I got a transition out of the.
Raggedy bitch.
Now you think's a good time for one?
Well, I finally made it through. I'm not comfortable with saying how I procured a copy of it, but I saw the entire 8 hours of the Black Sabbath Ozzy Osbourne tribute show. Had I known it was going to be that, I would have flown over to Birmingham, England, and seen it. It's insane. Here's Guns N' Roses for 15 minutes. Here's Alice in Chains for 15 minutes. Here's Metallica for 20 minutes. Here's a supergroup, and guess what? Steven Tyler sounds incredible. It was beautiful. It was positive. It was uplifting. And one of the thing that I'll remember the most, outside of Mama, I'm Coming Home with Ozzy Osbourne being praised with love in what is his final act as an entertainer, probably. You know, we've talked about this, about how, like, Ricky Martin hit the stage at the Grammys. It did the Cup of Life, and everyone knew, like, that guy's got it. That is a moment in time. Youngblood, who's been around for a little bit, the performance of Changes that Youngblood did at this show. He just came out, one song, suited up, it's one of the greatest performances, and just in talking about it, I got goosebumps, It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in front of a crowd. You have to search it out. I think YouTube's been blocking it a little bit, and maybe you can only find clips, but there is a hush that goes over Villa Park as if everyone recognizes in that moment what is happening. You did have the added element of beforehand, one of the guitarists said this song is going to be dedicated to Diogo Jota, who was a brilliant football player that played for Liverpool that died tragically alongside his brother in a car accident. So he was there in a Jota jersey, and that added to it. But the hush that went over the crowd was everyone at the same moment realizing, holy, Youngblood is going for it. It was a star-making performance.
Great performances by great performers who respect and are trying to memorialize other great performers competing against each other in order to do that, to honor somebody, to honor a legendary career in music, because all of those bands that are willing to play for 15 minutes and only 15 minutes are doing so out of respect more than anything else. But they didn't announce that any of those people were going to be a part of that. It was supposed to be a giant celebration.
Yeah, some people, but you don't know what to believe. You're like, okay, this is an insane lineup. They're only doing like pop-ins, right? No, they're doing proper sets, and I wish I knew more about it. I was never a big Sabbath and Ozzy guy. Now I am, obviously. That was an unbelievable show.
Greg Cody, you want to give us all your thoughts on Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath?
I have a great respect for Ozzy Osbourne, and I had.
This is the new and improved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Cody, you were saying we interrupted you and you kept talking through the hard network out, and we couldn't hear
Great respect for Ozzy.
Any of what you said. Yeah. I still don't believe that Mike Ryan is right about this, even though he mocks me. I don't believe that rock can produce an Ozzy Osbourne anymore. We can produce pop stars, but an Ozzy Osbourne, that kind of thing, I don't know how it is that gets produced so that 50 years from now there's whatever would be today the equivalent of 50 people honoring Drake or whatever.
It's just really hard to shock people these days. A part of what made Ozzy such a cult of personality was how shocking he was, even by today's standards. But because there was an Ozzy Osbourne, it makes it really difficult for another one to exist. But Youngblood, very clearly going for it. It felt like a pass the baton moment, even though he never interacted or interfaced with Ozzy Osbourne there. A lot like Ozzy in that he is a singular rock act that tours as a rock act. It's not too common these days. Handsome, English, got a lot going for himself, and the pipes to boot. That was, again, seek it out, incredible.
Yeah, I think the fact that Ozzy's had health issues added a poignancy to that whole event. And I want to say that Ozzy, you wouldn't think that they're would be close, but Ozzy and Elton John have been very close friends for a lot of years. They did a duet a couple of years ago called Ordinary Man, which is incredibly poignant because it's what you would imagine. It's about two old rock stars aging and talking about how they feared just leading ordinary lives and how neither one of them did that. It's a great song.
Something that happened also over the weekend that made me feel old was not just watching Ozzy there, but Jack White turned 50.
Yeah.
As part of turning 50, he got a cell phone for the first time, which I love Jack. I don't believe you.
He looked a little bit old when John C. Reilly was singing him happy birthday the other day at Tiger Stadium. I looked at Jack White and saw a rock star who also looked old, and I remain surprised to hear Mike.
John C. Reilly's looked old for a while. I mean,
that aging. Yes, he's a lot of forehead surface area on that one. But I do believe that I'm not going to say that Jack White is the last of it, but I just think the way that music is made today doesn't really allow for someone to be that kind of different from, I'm not saying from rock music. I mean, we make plenty of musical stars, plenty of pop stars, make the stars differently than we ever do. But I just don't know how it is that you make something that existed like Jimi Hendrix from the 60s or 70s. And I'm not romanticizing or pining for a time that didn't exist. I just don't know the way that we're making music today and distributing it, the way that access is today. I don't know that an act can break controversially or even being great enough to be better than the computers and the auto-tune and all of the producers that are making all of this music a little more homogenized, where the AI can even have a hit album, that AI can create a musical hit because computers can now do that.
I think rock music goes through these delayed cycles. We got into it a little bit, but there was an interesting interview that I'm currently listening to with Zane Lowe, who I respect immensely. I think one of the greatest radio disc jockey personality types ever to do it. He interviewed Deftones at a famous diner in LA, and they're occupying this very interesting place in rock music right now because Deftones are bigger than they've ever been. They're playing sold-out arena shows. They just played the stadium over at Crystal Palace, and a lot of it is TikTok. And a lot of it is songs that were deeper cuts, that were not singles whatsoever, that kids on TikTok have found. When I went to the Deftones show a few months ago, it was all people around 40 and over, and then teenagers. It just missed an entire generation of 20 to 35-year-olds. It was crazy to see. But social media is going to have these moments in which people get really amplified, and it gets people curious. They do some digging, and they realize that a band like Deftones that's been around for 30 years has a huge catalog and deserved to finally have their moment.
Something I should have said earlier that I did not say. I didn't know whether people had seen that we had sold something to ESPN, that Adam McKay and his team have made a 30 for 30 podcast that's 6-part series chasing basketball heaven on where it is that the three-pointer originated and where it is the game was revolutionized. So we were pretty proud. A small victory here for Metal Arc Media in being able to sell something with Adam McKay to ESPN. It debuts July 22nd.
80-20 my way?